Genshin Impact Twitter is cancer. Now, I'm on Twitter. That's me, at Informal Films. I tweet Genshin Impact. I talk about Genshin Impact and tweet about it. I make little pictures and tweet them. I'm not cancer. Let's just search Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact. It's trending. I'll tell you what. On the right-hand side of Twitter, it says what's trending. It's always trending. Maybe it's because I follow it and it says, oh, this is trending more to me because I'm more likely to, I don't know whether it says everything that's trending on the right-hand side here or whether it just says stuff that I might look. Because look, gaming, trending, Hearthstone. Hearthstone can't really be trending. But for me, it might be because I like Hearthstone. I watch it. So maybe it's suggesting certain things to me more. Anyway, Genshin Impact here. They're mainline accounts that are tweeting there, so I'll ignore that really because I don't think that's what's being said. But it's the other people who tweet about Genshin Impact. There's loads of fan art. I'm always seeing fan art. Look at this. Cool. And I think I see loads of really good fan art as well. I mean, look at that. That's incredible. Is this fan art as well? Is this someone who's just done this themselves? Wow. Don't know what's going on really, but it looks cool. Oh, hello, cheeky. But it's not cancer, is it? I'm not looking at. I've just searched up the hashtag Genshin Impact. I'm not seeing cancer. This is a new enemy. She dances. I saw her yesterday when I was just doing a bit of creep and grind. Oh, that's too big. You can't see that. I was just doing a little bit of creep and grind, and I bumped into her. She's a new enemy, and I love the fact they've introduced a new enemy. She's not major. She's just another eremite, and you smash her up reasonably quick. But it's nice to see new enemies, just variation. She was hanging on this like a swing, and then she hopped off it, and she took the ring that she was hanging on, and she used it as a weapon, like a hula hooper, which is really cool. Check this out. I'll bin the music off in case it's copyright. But look, she does. She dances. She's a dancing, hula hooping enemy. So that's cool. Lots of Alhaitham stuff kicking off. Ganyu from Genshin Impact. That's a cheeky one. That's a saucy one. They like doing that. I think they've stuck her head on a different, maybe, pre-existing body, or maybe, what's this? Source PixVN artworks. I'm not going to click it just in case, but there's a lot of, like, fandom in that aspect, isn't there? So, but there's also this kind of fandom look. Like, oh, saucy. Saucy. But good art. Right, well done. Saucy. Now this one's a bit saucy. That's quite saucy. Isn't it? But again, like, in fairness, like, there's going to be some of that about most stuffs, but it's not all sauce, is it? There's quite a lot of wholesome, quite a lot of fun. Whoa, that one is exclusive nude version with Candice from Genshin Impact, only on my Bootsy. I'm not clicking that. But again, I know. Okay, I'm gonna. I know it's a bit saucy, but what I also want to do is review it in a way that it looks almost like you've just copyrighted, cut and pasted her head onto a like you've probably got a few saucy bodies in your collection of arts that you do, and then quick, let's bang a Genshin Impact player on it. Like maybe you're doing that. Like this one, that's a head stuck on a body, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's that. I don't know. I don't know what this has got to do with Genshin Impact. It's a Walter White impression with Genshin Impact. It's some weird skit about waifus and stuff. Scaramanga memes. It's not awful. For me, it's not awful. That's enough of me looking down it now. Ooh. However, I'll tell you what, I go, because it's a bit saucy, but that is how you see those characters. Mona is presented like that. Dea is running off like it. They're not awful sauce. They're just like reality. Well, it's not reality. I mean, the reality of the game, not like over-sauced. Whereas some of these are deliberately a little bit more saucy. Mona from Genshin Impact. See, that's the same character, but I don't recognise her there because they've made her into a sort of more modern, realistic person. And it's just a little bit saucy. Is that what the accusation is going to be then? Because what I'm seeing here is I'm just seeing loads of... Like, maybe I should be looking at the comments on the things. Let's just pick the next one at random and see what the comments are. Cute, fine, they're fine. The next one at random, they're about to end Cave, so they're playing Uno. The replies are like in a foreign language. I love your Tignari design, thank you so much. Checking the cards that the 3 others have. Cave's career is about to get ended. Rest in peace, Cave. Praying he has a 4+ save, but they're fine. Everything's fine here. Everything is fine here. Albedo from Genshin Impact was last seen 108 days ago. Oh, if you like Genshin Impact, you are in my heart, but that's not her heart. I'm glad that... Whoa, that's saucy. Now it's getting saucy. And that's saucy, and that's saucy. Is it the saucy that he's going to be... I don't know. Anyway, look. I wanted to just... That's the Genshin Impact Twitter that I'm aware of. It's a bit saucy around the edges, but in the main it's alright. Let's see what Asmongold's saying.
Genshin players hate everyone except the characters in the game.
Genshin players hate everyone except the characters in the game. I don't.
Including themselves?
Including themselves. No.
Wait, don't answer that. Including the voice actors.
Including the voice actors.
That's smart. Which one would you date? That's a good idea.
He is talking with his mouth full. You know, it's a bit cheeky, but he is a streamer who's on like 9 hours on the day, so, you know, fair enough, I think.
Somebody update me a, Genshin Impact, waifu tier list. But we're gonna take all the, you know, girls of questionable age, we're gonna put all those in the garbage. And just do the ones that are hot. So, Genshin
adults.
Twitter is cancer. Is this actually true? Let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out what's going on.
I hear a lot of bad things about Genshin Impact Twitter. A lot.
Do you?
Hey, another contra. Oh boy!
I'm pausing already because do you really hear a lot of bad things about Genshin Impact Twitter? Why don't you just go and look on it then? Like I just did. Like I heard a lot when I first became aware of Genshin Impact. I heard a lot of bad things about it. So what I did was I went and looked at what it was and found out for myself if people were telling the truth, and it turned out no, they weren't. They were all wrong. All this, oh, it's a waifu simulator, oh, it's a gambling addicts game, oh, it's just for the whales, oh, it's a gacha and they skank you and you don't really get what you want and you have to put money in, and Genshin Impact money spent, none, got loads of cool characters, thanks, played it for nearly a year now, really enjoyed it, great story mode, exploration, combat, the systems, the synergies with the combat make it interesting, new characters all the time. I've never played a game, right, and I've played a few, bear in mind, over my life. I've never, like, compare this to like the launch of Fallout, or not the launch, the whole of Fallout 76 or something like that. Like Bethesda did an open world ongoing experience thing, didn't they? And it was fucking rubbish. And then look at what's happening with World of Warcraft and other games. And then you look at Genshin Impact and like month after month there's exciting new content. I'm not even up to speed with it all, even though I've been playing it for like there's so much, there's side content and story modes, and each character's got an individual different background and story, and all the different places have got all this context and deep rich narrative just built into the environment. And then you've got the exploration, and it's like Breath of the Wild turned up to 12 and you get a new copy, a new expansion, a new DLC for free, sort of monthly. Like it's absolutely expansive, vast, enjoyable. It's one of the best gaming experiences I've had. Yeah, that's Genshin Impact. Waifu simulator, it's a gacha game, and like, so if you're going to tell me Genshin Impact Twitter is cancer, the first thing I'm going to do, like I just did, is just look at Twitter, and it wasn't. So stop spreading the rubbish, stop being the cancer yourself. That's what you're doing. If you're spreading that horrible narrative, you're part of it, aren't you? I'm sure we could all find a bit of what we look for. If I wanted to say Genshin Impact Twitter is saucy, I could find some sauce. Genshin Impact Twitter is wholesome, I could find some wholesome. But in the main, I've not been affected by any negativity from Genshin Impact on Twitter.
Another day, another controversial topic to make.
Is that the girl that they had in that one video that was like the fucking oh no.
I don't know what he's saying.
Welcome back, gentlemen. Wait, what? 30% of my viewers are women? Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and
How the fuck do you have 30% viewers as women?
Pausing that. Over on Super Chuffer, my main channel. That's my main channel there. Our recent videos have actually got 50-50 men and women, and I'm really pleased with that. And it's because we're covering topics in the lives here that are interesting to a female audience and a male audience, that are interesting to people. And what's happened over the years on YouTube is, initially YouTube, this is years ago now, of course I'm talking, because it's different these days. These days everyone's got a phone, everyone can access everything. But when these things first got started, it was the domain of people who were into technology, into computers, and it's a sort of patriarchal hangover that when you're at school and you're a young girl or a young boy, you're gently pushed into different areas based on sexism and what the patriarchy thinks. And it might be that girls didn't want to sit in the room with the computer boys and the computer geeky boys, and you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Look at the Big Bang Theory. It's a bit more egalitarian these days, isn't it? But back in my day, the early internet, it was dominated more by men. And so the games that were created and the style of the games and all that, you know, shooters, football games, World of Warcraft in itself, had to change some of the things in their past to appeal to a more modern audience, because in the things they put in there in the game in the past were quite sexist and patriarchal. Like, you know it, I know it, we all know it. So that gaming space, we've had Gamergate now, we've had it all change, but it's a hangover from all that the online spaces are predominantly inhabited by men. And it might also be the case that women prefer a different kind of media. Maybe they're more interested in the Snapchats and the little dances, and maybe they're more social and use social media in a more social way, and maybe men are a little bit more insular and prefer to sit and listen to something long form on their own in the shed while they're tinkering around. That's being sexist and patriarchal, of course, but you know what I'm saying. So it is the case that and certainly for Asmongold on Twitter, he's cultivated a boys club, and that's why his mates end up getting done for being sex pests, don't they? So it's a surprise to him to get the 50%, 30% women. But for me, if I'm doing content about a broad topic and it's interesting to women as well, and even with Genshin Impact as a game, this is something that Asmongold simply fails to understand for some reason about Genshin Impact. He understands it's popular across a broad range of people. Younger people, of men and women, young girls and boys enjoy this, or non-denominative genders or whatever. But for Asmongold, it's hard for him to see that and to understand it, because he just doesn't see it or understand it. He's so wrapped in this like woolen envelope of the boys club. All right, boys, what's up, boys? It's your boy Asmongold. You know, he's so wrapped up in this, and he's cultivated it, and his chatter all like it. And if you were a young girl and you went into Asmongold's chat and hung out in his stream for a bit, you'd feel a bit put off by the way they're all like, oh, big dick energy boys, oh, cock and bum boys, you know, like constantly going on about all this stuff. It would just feel like, oh, it's not really my place. So if you cultivate a boys club, you get a boys club, and that's the internet. Welcome to the internet. I'll be your guide. Nowadays it's different, and I suppose if you go on other media sites, that's why Instagram is not predominantly boys, and it's why TikTok might not be predominantly boys. And so yeah, I just wanted to pick him up on that point there. It's a surprise to him that viewers can be women as well.
I have like 2. I'm at like 2%. That's it. It used to be 1, and then I started playing Final Fantasy. It was 2. During Johnny Depp, it was like 10. And
yeah. See, what does that tell you?
Then now it's back down to probably 2.
Does not appeal to women.
Venti mains? We've spoken about a good amount of topics on this channel so far. Fandoms, Primogem cults, and of course, Genshin YouTubers. And they've all had...
I should go and watch that channel, not Asmongold.
Great feedback.
Okay.
I've had a great run on YouTube, and I'm very grateful to every single one of you, but I think this video's topic might end my short-lived career.
Okay.
Whenever you speak about a sensitive or heated subject, it's the equivalent of walking on a minefield. So if that's the case...
I don't think it's a problem.
Before he gets going, I don't like this constant use of stock footage to illustrate every single word you say. Like, I don't need to have like that many edits thrown at me as if I'm like stupid. Like, don't understand the concept of a minefield. Here's a picture of one. Unless you're going to use it deliberately to make a joke, you know, like say minefield and like you cut to somebody playing Minesweeper, or like maybe that's not a good joke, but you know what I mean, or like I'm sure there must be a clip of somebody being blown up in the air in a comedic way, or do you know what I mean? Maybe use it as a joke, a visual joke to overlay it, but otherwise I'm just seeing like pictures ripped off the internet to illustrate every word you say, literally.
Because if you walking on a minefield is only scary if you're afraid of stepping on a mine. But if you don't care about stepping on mines, then walking on a minefield is just like walking anywhere else.
Asmongold does have the benefit of having a large and supportive audience, including me. So even if he steps on a mine, we'll find a way to rehabilitate him and help him walk with one leg. But for a smaller content creator, I've noticed that when I do, because right now this is a reaction that's going to end up on Ganji Cuts. So if you go on my main channel, Super Chuffer there, at Ganji Kid, and then the channels there, Ganji Cuts, I make these Ganji Cuts and I put them up here. And check this out. Recently I did, just from a couple of weeks ago, I did Nadia Dox's Troll Tipper. That's a bit of a drama thing. I didn't get many views. This Will Asmongold play Genshin Impact got more views. Could Genshin be the new Disney? 125 views. It's not a very good thumbnail. I'm not, haven't got a good thumbnail editing software at the moment, but I've moved to a different computer recently. So anyway, why I tagged her in Yoimiya Alone in the Forest, 100 views. Genshin Impact swords on Amazon are cool, 1,000 views, and then it hit this wall that YouTube wouldn't suggest it anymore. It said no thanks, but it was going really well, that one. Genshin Impact's most expensive stuff on Amazon, 800 views, same deal. I could show you the stats. It goes up, 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 and then bang, no more views, no more suggestions, no more. It's almost like it got decided it was going to be stopped. No more suggestions, no more impressions, and no more views. So, but it got there on the way up, and then I recently did a few videos, because what we do is we do something on stream live like this that we're doing now on Twitch, and then I cut it and drop it on the Ganji Cuts like that. And I recently have been doing this little bit of chat about these action figures that we discovered, the Figma action figures, Black Belt Barbie. I thought that was quite an interesting little Ganji Cut, talking about these Barbies, and Japanese emergency prepper kit. We've been to Japan. We haven't. We've been to the Japanese shop and we've had a look on the Japanese shop about what they do in an emergency and the sort of stuff they buy. I was a little bit poorly. I'm a little bit low-key on that one, but 7 views. No suggestions, no views. So what I've noticed is if I write Genshin Impact in the title, it gets a lot of views and then YouTube stops it. If I write Asmongold in the title, that helps. That gets a few views as well. Ganji's Genshin tier list did alright. And me reacting to the music did alright, but I'm doing a variety of different content here and I'm seeing what works. And I'll tell you what works. Look, Asmongold will play Genshin Impact, 6,000 views 4 months ago. Asmongold and Genshin Impact in the same title. So Asmongold's got it made. But for us smaller content creators, although I'm not always going to make an Asmongold does Genshin Impact react video every day, every week. I'm not going to just like try and mine that vein until it's dry. I just, I'll fly about. I'm not worried about stepping on a few mines, so to speak. But I understand what's being said here by this content creator, who is Mujin. Mujin is saying that, you beholden to this logarithm, and if you start saying to people, certainly to the audience, you build up an audience of people. This is what we're talking about with the male and women thing, and it's something that worries me about what we're doing on Monday on our channel, because I do these lives over on Ganji Chuffer, Super Chuffer, Ganji Kid. I do lives, and on Monday we're doing Thus Light, a review of some Red Dwarf. That's a bit more of a boys club thing. The girls can like it too. It's not exclusively a male-dominated area, but it is a bit of a geeky men's British niche. So I'm not really appealing to my broad audience there when I do that. Everyone can get a bit out of the McCann's on body language. Everyone can enjoy that. But not everyone will enjoy Red Dwarf. That's much more Yeah, so smaller content creators do have to worry more. And what I was saying is, if you've built up an audience and your audience is predominantly interested in Genshin Impact, for example, and they like it, then you go online and tell them, everyone that goes on Twitter that does Genshin's cancer, then, like me, my first reaction to that is, I don't know about you, you chuffer, hang on. I don't know if I agree with you, you chuffer. So you do have to make a very reasonable and very interesting video from here on out for me to come over to your side, because you've started off by getting me on the wrong foot. I think.
The regular heated subjects. Speaking about Genshin, Twitter
wow.
is like walking on the mother of all minefields in front of Guantanamo Bay with 50 snipers pointing a laser at you. With all that being said,
I'm really not enjoying that edit style of just pictures quick like that. I think if you're going to search for pictures, why aren't you searching for video? Like you're making a video.
Let's do it anyway. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? That's why you subscribe to me, right? You want to see this shit, don't you? You want to make fun of everything, don't you? Let's go, baby. But first, let's start with a very simple question.
And the use of such a broad range of stock photography. The problem with stock photography, that's I'm going off topic here, but what works really well in something like, let's try, is it Internet Historian or Spiffing Brit who does it? Spiffing Brit probably does it the most, don't they? Spiffing Brit. If I just go Spiffing Brit, and look, yeah, it'll be in any of their videos will include this stock photography. But what they do that's really funny is they actually shoot the stock photography themselves, and so you see this, look, see that stock photography. Yeah.
Don't worry, the developer has had years to fix them, but I'm going to be doing my... It's a wonderful game. It's just escaped early access, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what that means. That means it's going to be absolutely rammed with exploits and perfectly balanced gameplay features for me to manipulate. Don't worry, the developer has had years to fix them.
So you see they were using that stock photography style that we were just watching on this video. Yeah, but what's actually happening here, I don't know if you noticed, but these watermarks say Spiffco, and I've got a picture of a cup of tea.
Balanced gameplay features for me to manipulate. Don't worry.
And this one, a clown. You know, are you really making stock photography of clowns in workplaces? I actually believe, and I don't know if I'm making this up. You know, it might just be they put their watermark over a stock photograph for a joke, but I actually think they're shooting their own photography to use in their videos, and they've watermarked it Spiffco with the cup of tea because Spiffing Brit. So I think that's a really funny reworking of the stock. Like we see a lot of videos on YouTube that are just using stock photography because it's easy to just go on Google, type in the words of what you've written in your script, and just copy paste the pictures that come up. And this is the pictures that come up. So I find it lazy, creative concept. Like it annoys me as an editor and a video maker to watch just pictures going by that are the first picture you found on Google. And most of them have all got watermarks to, you know, show that you really shouldn't have been using them anyway. Like this, on the other hand, is making a joke about that. And it's subtle, but it's there. So like you let it go by if you don't notice it. But actually, this isn't a normal stock photograph. This has been made to look even more funny, and he's got his tongue out and he's doing a pose. So, like, they are actually funny stock photographs that they're making. Like, it's even funnier that they're making their own stock photographs. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying now, yeah? British bloke drinking tea. Like, someone looking pleased with themselves. I'm saying this is their own Spiffco shot, and that is not a stock photograph of someone with their pockets out they've ripped and then put the Spiffco logo on. So if we've got up to that in good media production, that joke about stock photography, just using the stock photography like this annoys me.
What is Twitter? Twitter is a truly wonderful app. Every person who uses it just can't stop.
Free pick. This is a stock photograph, but it is a stock photograph. It's bad. Like, we know it's bad. It's cheesy and it's bad. So use it as a joke, but don't use it seriously. Otherwise, like, what are you on about? What are you doing? You don't need to do that. Two things you can do that are better than that. Just have random gameplay. People don't care. They'll watch just somebody running around in the game that you're talking about. Or number two, that's better than that. It would be shoot yourself talking. Like, you're recording yourself talking, your voice. So record yourself talking and then cut to yourself talking in the video. That's fine. People don't mind that. Sorry, I'll have to go back a little bit because... But look, this amount of stock photography is heavy annoying me now, so I might not be able to make the whole video.
About how it's filled with positive attitude. Very simple question. What is Twitter? Twitter is a truly wonderful app. Every person who uses it just can't stop raving about how it's filled with positive attitude, how it improves their mental health, and how they've never been happier.
Okay, Saki, I get it. Twitter's a shithole. It is. It's a scumhole. But Twitter is what you make it as well. And if you engage in that and follow that, I follow a broad range. Actually, I'd like to do this. I'd like to show who I follow because I bet there's some really bad chuffers on there. But I follow a broad range of people because I don't want to just see my opinions. I want to see everyone's opinions. And I follow some people who are like politically misaligned with me because I want to see their opinions and maybe even argue with them. But quite often I can be the source of the slurry as well. Like someone will post something and I'll retweet it or make my comment and I'll be a bit snidey or a bit sarky or even not and be perceived as such because it's always like that. And then you can get into it on Twitter or you can just post memes, just post fun stuff, just post whatever, just retweet. It's part of what you make it as well.
Oh, what? Wait, oh,
I don't have that much trouble on Twitter. Like, even on days that I get canceled, I just, like, if somebody tweets something mean at me, I just block them. They're like, I fucking hate you, you fucking lose. Okay. And that's about it. Yeah, I
agree with that, yeah. Although, I don't ban people from my chat very often. And I don't block people very often because it does frustrate me. The one that frustrates me the most is when I've had it, I said recently, didn't I, helped somebody with their photography by dropping them a website link. And that's all I posted was the website link. And in response, I got somebody else saying, oh, you don't use that fucking thing in your videos. Oh, you're so clever telling her what to do. And I'm like, she asked for help with her thumbnails. And I posted a link to a website, you bitch. Calm the fuck down. But at the same time, I can't say that to that person who said that to me. I try and say to them, like, you are in the wrong here and you're being rude. Stop, calm down, or like whatever. Let's discuss. I like discussing ideas. If you want to discuss whether someone's got a right to go in the toilets as a trans person, let's discuss it on Twitter. But if you want to call me a fucking dickhead and a big fat chuffer, just forget it. But at the same time, you should be able to read my argument. Like, you should be able to see the reason that you're wrong posted there on the internet. What annoys me is when people block me so that they don't have to face the truth and the argument. So that they don't, like, when you beat them in an argument, you best them with a clear and reasonable point, and instead of responding to it, they just got, you're blocked. And you're like, what? So it's like a head buried in the sand in response to and that, the frustrating thing for me is that I feel that we could get somewhere, but a lot of people, and you see it all the time in real life, you know, I don't want to deal with it, I don't want to face it, I'll walk away. Like, people would rather cry and have attention than actually deal with the real issue of them being a chuffer. So the blocked and all that, and the attitude on social media that you should simply just block and walk away and you're so good and they're such chuffers, block, 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 banned, 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 why am I toxic? So it's not necessarily the best idea. And me personally, I tend not to block people. I've not had to block anyone since that Raffy Taffy trolling stuff, and that was just because strangers came over to tell me to kill myself, and I was like, right, don't need to deal with you, you're obviously a dickhead, blocked. But the other aspect of it, the not engaging in a conversation and right, speak to the hand, face ain't listening, it's just ignorance. So blocking can be a way of asserting your ignorance in a situation and making yourself feel, like I said earlier about the echo chamber, just like the things you like, just listen to the things you listen to, then, oh, you're so good and you're so wonderful. Like on ASMR tip, there's a lot of people doing fake sex stuff in the ASMR world and selling their OnlyFans through ASMR. And if I see it on Twitter, I'll retweet and call it out and I don't like it. Those people have all blocked me way long ago because I've retweeted them and called them out, didn't like it. It's not ASMR, it's sex work. I don't mind sex work. Do your sex work. Go on Pornhub and do it. Get out of my ASMR feed, you chuffer. That's my perspective. But they all block me and they don't see that voice now saying that. So they think, yeah, I'm the queen of ASMR, I'm the best one. But they don't know that people are behind the block wall saying you're a chuffer, and I'm not even saying it anymore because I don't see their content. It's a weird way to have this social interaction on social media where we anti-social wall block and you don't see the walls, they're just all around you, invisible, and they're modifying and controlling what you're viewing. It's like we're in a social maze rather than an open space, and the whole point is that we're in an open space engaging with and sharing ideas. So the block button is a worry, you know. It's made me want to go and have a look on my Twitter about who I'm blocked by, who I've blocked. You know, maybe at the end of this we'll look at my Twitter, maybe. But let's see.
There's never anything upsetting on Twitter, really.
That's actually...
Asmon can say that as well. There's never anything upsetting on Twitter because he's not upset by as much stuff, is he? Because, like he said the other day about the debate talking about animals, when he was talking about Jake Paul's animals or Logan Paul's animals or whatever, and he said, I don't care if people want to kill and eat cats, you know, I don't worry about he's not concerned for the life of the cats. Like, if you don't care, you're not going to be upset. But if you do care about stuff and you are I don't want to say I want to say ethical, but I don't want to say like snowflakey, soft-skinned. Like they accuse the left of being, because I think there are some terrible, horrible things going on in the world. Look what happened in Ukraine recently. You should be angry and upset. We should be using social media to express these injustices and try and right them. We should all be retweeting Amnesty International until everyone's joined up, and then we can all like go ahead and like help to change the world. I mean, it seems strange to me that you could say, "Oh, there's nothing to be upset by." It was more of a. I think that's more of a statement about your perspective on Twitter, and that might be healthy. Things on Twitter don't hurt me; they're just a load of bullshit. But it might be unhealthy. I don't have enough empathy for the world and the ills. So there's two ways to look at that.
How they feel after they uninstall it. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Long story short, it's an app that people use to vent out all their hatred and use each other as punching bags in echo chambers built out of styrofoam. Now look, Genshin Twitter is just like any other crazy Twitter fandom.
Okay.
It has new controversial drama at an average of every 24 hours.
No, I've never seen any drama. Now, get this. I recently had to investigate a small drama within the detracted community, which I think I might make a bit of content on. I might do it as part of today's episode since I'm doing so much talking already. But I think it would sit better on my battery exhausted channel as an episode there. Anyway, I'm on Twitter, I'm searching the Genshin hashtag. I'm on Twitter, I'm searching the ASMR hashtag. They're the only hashtags I really search. And I've not been party to, had any drama. Never have I commented on anything. I don't comment on a lot of stuff other than that's good, retweet this, like that, that's good, nice, well done. I tweet out about me and my playing Genshin. In fact, I should press the button now. I'm live on Twitch. I tweet, please give me this and that Hoyoverse, please, I'm rolling for this, I want this. I tweet out my artificial intelligent pictures of Amber. There's no drama. I've never seen drama. I've been on it for 6 months solid now. When I say solid, probably daily check Twitter for my notifications, my messages, and like I say, scroll through the ASMR, not daily ASMR, but Genshin Impact probably scroll through daily, actually, looking at pictures, primos, and maybe tweeting, a bit of my own into it, but I've never seen a drama.
Yes.
There's always something to be mad about, and people tweeting are usually miserable, and you can feel it.
What?
And of course.
Are you fucking mental? Honestly, what's happened is I think this person doesn't understand social media because what is it? I mean, I said I should watch their videos. Maybe I shouldn't. Look, using so much stock photography in your video that as a viewer, I'm starting to feel sick of it already, and it has no pertinence to anything you're really saying. Like, it's just
mad about, and people tweeting are usually miserable, and you can feel it.
Right, okay, let's just take that. People tweeting are usually miserable and you can feel it. So I could go on Google and write miserable people images and we'll get the stock photography, yeah? Like, I'm getting more quotes, look. I'm getting all these live, love, live quotes. But we'll get the stock photography, like maybe that would have been a good one. I understand what they're doing here, right? Using this stock photography. Or maybe they are signed onto a stock photography website and they're searching that website, okay? But let me just quickly find a better example of a miserable person tweeting. Yeah, someone miserable tweeting. For my video, if I was doing the same video and the same edit, what I would probably do is I'd probably go to YouTube. Again, I'm ripping this off someone else. This is naughty, but YouTube, and I'd look for someone smashing up phone, maybe, because you're miserable, you're tweeting, you're smashing up your phone, and like it would be funny, like, to see someone doing like miserable person tweeting. That makes more impact. It's more interesting to see, and it's more of a joke because like what sort of person would smashing up their phone? A miserable person tweeting would smash their phone, wouldn't they? Like, it's like taking it to another level, so it makes a joke out of it. So I'd probably get some VT if someone's, and if I had an old phone and wanted to film it myself, that would be even better because I could get a really good shot of the way I want it, which would probably be tweet, and then fucking smash like that. Tweet, like show someone, like, showing over my shoulder the phone, tweet, and then smash. I can imagine that shot correctly could be funny. Whereas I got my own Twitter there just in case. Whereas what we're watching is just boring stock photography, so it's showing a bad choice. Yeah, isn't it? It's showing a bad choice, and it's that level of thinking that's made that choice that makes me worry about the argument that I'm listening to, which is that Genshin Impact on Twitter is bad. And again, we'll do it again, Genshin Impact. If you want to say Genshin Impact on Twitter as like a hashtag latest, let's put latest. Genshin Impact, Genshin Stream Let's Go from B-Bells, Twitch streamer. I should watch. I'm streaming myself. Ice Cold Potato has done that, which I think is I can't translate it, but it's a piece of art. Someone's sharing from their PlayStation there. Second crown on Ayaka. Well done. Nice. Lucky you. That's cool. That's cool. I might be tempted to retweet that and just be like, thumbs up. Top 10 video games to know me. Naruto, Genshin Impact is on the list. Alright, no comments. Which of these legendary men should I choose from the Genshin Impact? Genshin Impact quest is not it, man. Can we stop with the racism and Orientalism? I can assure you the game would still be fun if you stop whitewashing your own characters / giving them melatonin. Now that is something I agree with. I have seen a lot of in the game. I'm worried about the diversity. I think that the main story playable, winnable, main story characters are not diverse enough. They are diverse, but they're not diverse enough. Oh, it's not really reflective of Earth, is it? It's Tavia. They might not have black people in Tavia. Well, they certainly fucking don't, do they? It seems. And we've been to the damn desert now. They don't have Arabic people either. They've got people who dress up like Arabic people with very light skin tone compared to Arabic. So, it does seem a bit of a whitewash, yes. And they make them all thin and muscular and perfect proportions and almost unrealistic, like dolls. And we saw in the West that with Barbie doll and Action Man, it's not healthy for kids, is it? They grow up with strange ideas in their mind about what a perfect body should be. So Genshin Impact really needs to work on that. It really does. I 100% agree. I'll just retweet it, and I 100% agree. Yeah? No drama here. We're making an important and valid point here about the game itself and society at large. No drama. I totally agree with that. That's the first thing that's political or anything like that, though, isn't it? Someone's comparing Apex Legends. I can't read it. It's foreign. It's foreign. I always lose angry. They're playing the game where you retweet them and you might win something. There's somebody drawing a picture. Where's all the drama? Where is all the drama? There is no drama. I've been through the top when we started the episode, and now I'm going through the most recent. And I'm worried in case someone's posted a picture of Coco Goat's bum or something. But I'm showing you live on the internet the most recent Genshin Impact tweets. There is no drama. No one's bothered. No one's having a bad time. We're all having a good time. Everyone's sharing their wins, their art. Everyone's sharing their character favourites. And occasionally we're saying, can we make the game a bit more inclusive and a bit more diverse in terms of skin tone and body shape? And other than that, it's all good. That was an article saying a number of gamers recently reported Genshin Impact mysteriously appeared on their PlayStation without any recollection of downloading it. That's interesting. But not drama. So this isn't because of my shaping of Twitter either. I'm asking Twitter for Genshin Impact latest. It's not because I've blocked certain people and liked certain people that it's showing me a more positive vibe. This is what it is. I might be wrong. You tell me if I'm reading the algorithm wrong there. I think this is what it is, and I think it's fine. Right, let's go back to not my favourite video, actually.
And of course, since I make the best life decisions, come on, I'm a Genshin player. I thought it would be the perfect time to...
You just made a joke about Genshin being a bad life decision. Why? You're the one that's got... I think this person's got a chip on their own shoulder about Genshin Impact, about themselves. I think this person's got their own insecurity and inferiority complex because I don't I can feel insecure and don't value myself, right, at certain times, but I certainly won't. Let's say, for example, and this is a great. This is the example. This is exactly the example, the right example to use today. If I Google up Chris Eubank today, then what happens with Chris Eubank today? News is he wore a rainbow armband at the weigh-in because he's fighting tomorrow, Chris Eubank Jr., and he's fighting Liam Smith. I quite like Liam Smith, but at the press conference, Chris Eubank was talking about Liam Smith's hair, and Eubank was and basically Liam Smith said something about homophobic taunts. I mean, I don't want to repeat homophobic taunts on my stream, do I? So we'll just say, like, he launched homophobic taunts at him. You know, he accused him, of all things, of being gay. So Chris Eubank Jr. did exactly what I would do in this situation, actually. And I remember being at school and people, like, I used to do fencing, and the rugby team used to bully us. "Oh, you wearing your white uniforms? Are you all gay?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck you, I am. Like, come over here and I'll suck your dick." And like that would really make them even more angry. Even though I didn't necessarily want to do that, and I wasn't necessarily that. I would write, if you're going to accuse me of being, like, if you're going to say those people, that minority, I'll stand with the minority and I'll say, "Fuck you, you're wrong." Like, I'll be proud of the thing you're dissing me for, because I stand with that minority. Fuck you. And that's what Chris Eubank Jr. has done here, hasn't he? He's worn the armband. Yeah, okay. Like, you know, let's go. Why is that a great example of this? Is because I'm not, like, if someone was to, I'm not insecure enough for someone to say something to me like that and for me to go, "Oh my God," like, I'll actually play with their, you know, I'll wear the armband because I'm not insecure about it. I'm so secure about my sexuality, and like, I'm so confident that it doesn't matter what clothes I wear or what makeup I put on about who I am inside, that it doesn't matter. Like, some people would, like, you'd say, "Oh, we're going to go out, okay, we're going to go out tonight to the pub and I want you to wear lipstick to the pub," and they'd be like, "What the fuck? Absolutely no way. There's fucking, everyone would think this, everyone would think that." And for me, obviously I'm not going to do it as a standard thing, but if it was like the same deal, like let's say for 50 quid you wear lipstick to the pub, I just put the lipstick on, fuck it, let's go. Like, I don't care what people say about me in the pub. Like, "Oh, did you see him once? He was wearing lipstick." Let's go. A simple example of this is actually a real example. Is once my mates were messing around at the pub and there was a crash helmet involved, and they put the crash helmet on me, and someone was like, "Oh, if you go running around the block, I'll give you a $5." Like, you know, how hilarious. And I ran around the block pretending I was on a motorbike, like, you know, running around the block, like, like running around the block. And it was, they all had a good laugh. I got a $5. I don't care if they have a laugh at my expense. It's a joke. It's no fun. Like, that wasn't so harsh and serious. It was just a bit of fun. But you know what I mean? I'm not insecure in that way that I put the lipstick on, everyone thought this, and I couldn't do that. Like, so if you're in Genshin Impact, if you're playing Genshin Impact and you're making a self-referential joke about should be questioning your own life choices, that's because you've got a chip on your shoulder about Genshin Impact and your life choices. I don't see Genshin Impact as a bad life choice. I see it as something really enjoyable and really fun. Like, in the other way you could look at it is you could say to people who play World of Warcraft, you should question your life choices because you're in the basement, aren't you, growing the beard like that neck beard from South Park. It's the same as this. South Park neck beard. It's the same as this, isn't it? Like the South Park neckbeard character. Like, obviously not all World of Warcraft players are this. You can still have a great life and enjoy World of Warcraft in an evening. Like, you don't have to become a basement dweller. I see, actually, this is a funny one I see on Twitter a lot, actually. With Steve, it happened, and it happened with me as well, where I critiqued somebody. It might have been I was arguing with one of the sex workers from the ASMR thing, and they call you a basement, like you live in your mom's basement. You live in your mom's basement, you're an incel. And I'm like, why'd you jump to these really strange... Like today, I'm actually wearing a Fallout Vault 111 jumpsuit jacket. You know, some people will understand that as a reference. When I went out walking the dog earlier and, you know, picking up dog poo in the park and whatever, people aren't like, "Oh, you sad basement dweller with your Vault 111. Like, they just don't care. It's just normal life that I go around. Like, if I want to go to the supermarket, like, I'm not a sad basement dweller, but it's like if you mention World of Warcraft or if you mention this, right, you're in that box. Well, you've just done it to yourself.
The best life decisions. I mean, of every 24 hours,
yes,
there's always something to be mad about, and people tweeting are usually miserable, and you can feel it. And of course, since I make the best life decisions, I mean, come on, I'm a Genshin player.
Since I make the best life decisions, I mean, come on, I'm a Genshin player, and your brain thought to get a picture
thought it would be
of
the
a clown.
I make the best life decisions. I mean,
or a sad clown man. That's your impression of yourself. That's not every Genshin player out there. Everyone knows that. So that must be what this person thinks of themselves for playing Genshin. Maybe they consider themselves to be like I am, a bit older, a bit male, and maybe this seems like a bit of a younger, more, you know, there's more girls in you know, for example, the Mermaid Scales plays Genshin Impact, and we're at totally different ends of a market in a way, aren't we? Mermaid Scales, but yet I watch Mermaid Scales on the internet. So this is Mermaid Scales. She's about 23. She's her name's Krutika, and I think she's from India. But if I do videos like TikTok compilation, like she's huge. Like I just want to see an actual Mermaid Scales video, not videos about her, if you know what I mean. But she's huge. Let's just put one of these on. In fact, why not just search YouTube for Mermaid Scales?
From the back, 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 from the back.
So they're just little cheeky, you know what they are. They're just little cheeky TikTok relatables, comedic. None of them are anything like, she's not over sexualized, she's not over anything like this. She's wholesome, comedic, and it really works on TikTok and the internet. And also, she's a younger girl and she appeals to younger girls more than older men. I mean, well, have I said that? I'm sure younger girls appeal to older men, don't they? But you know what I mean? Like, you know, her demographic and the people that are watching her are going to be a much more younger, probably diverse, probably boys and girls watch her. And the people that watch her videos, let's say you took, 100,000 of her viewers and sat them in front of my video or Asmongold's video or this guy's video, then they're going to be like, well, who are these old men and what are they going on about? Sit me back in front of my young, vibrant peers. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just have to accept our places in the world in a way, don't we? Because we grow, and you know, at one point in my life, I was her. I was that age. I was funky, and the world was, you know, new. I sound like such an old chuffer. I'm not such an old chuffer, but you know what I'm saying. Like, and so I think that what the thing about Genshin is, it's a game. So there's Krutika is playing Genshin Impact. If I put Mermaid Scales Genshin. Like, there she is. She's playing Genshin Impact. Yeah. So she's representative of a modern gaming audience playing this really popular game. Yeah. Like, really popular. So Kritika's playing it. If I just put Genshin streamers, you'll see from some boys, of course, and they will be high up on the algorithm because, you know, welcome to YouTube. But if I put Genshin streamer, I should see some female. Why is it so many boys? Should see some females, shouldn't I? There's a lot of waifu boys then, aren't there? Or am I just the one saying that? Where's Dish? There's Dish, look, Dish. Dish is a Genshin Impact streamer, and her demographic appeal, you know, the way she's female. Do you know what I mean? That might seem, again, it might seem quite scary to this guy who thinks he's questioning his life choices because he's in a room with other people that are like, you know, if you're playing World of Warcraft and you're in a World of Warcraft room, you're in a room with your peers. Asmongold has collated a group of younger men who, like, big dick energy boys, and you crack that joke in the Genshin Impact forums and they're like, who are you, old man? So you feel a bit uncomfortable. I think this person's questioning their choices, whereas I've spent maybe like 10 years running a business in hairdressing salons surrounded by women. I used to do photo shoots, working with models. Like, I've been like in both a styling and a photographic capacity and a film. Like, I'll show you a piece of film that I did with a model, just for example, because it does example this. Informal films is me, and I did this for these model. Like, it's like a, you know, they want one of these videos. as much as I'm a bit like, you know, oh, that's saucy when I'm playing Genshin Impact, I can be around a girl in her underwear on a professional job and not be like a like, you know, I can be a professional normal person around a woman. So I think that's the problem that's happening here, is you're in a different room now, and people like me can just deal with it, and people like you don't seem to be able to.
Miserable, and you can feel it. And of course, since I make the best life decisions, I mean, come on, I'm a Genshin player, I thought it would be the perfect time to make...
Even the psychology, the subtext of having a pink background on that one, I don't know if it was, you know, what drew him...
Since I make the best life decisions, I mean...
The pink background, you know, the older man clown dressed, like, birthday party, child's birthday party, pink girl's birthday party. There's so much subtext to that, it's unbelievable.
Come on, I'm a Genshin player. I thought it would be the perfect time to make a video on Genshin Twitter while all hell is breaking loose.
Is it?
So what the hell is happening? Some people are saying this controversy is almost as big as the one that happened during Genshin's anniversary event when Hoyoverse decided, you know what? There's no need to really reward our players for 1 year, right? Well, it's really simple.
Okay, I wasn't playing at that point, so I don't know what happened with that. No idea. But I've not seen, like, in the news, if you Google news and Genshin Impact, you're going to get a lot of Genshin Impact news, because Genshin Impact, actually just Genshin Impact size, players, like, I want to know, like, not the storage size, you chuffer, like, you know, biggest game, 9 million users. Is Genshin Impact the biggest game? Third highest grossing mobile game, like, that means grossing game, because mobile games take the most. It's not just a mobile game, is it? Is it the most successful game? Impact is among the most successful games, earned 4 billion by 2023. That's just financial terms. Like, I'm talking about popularity. Keeps players coming back. Like, it's got a different format as well than World of Warcraft, where people log in, do the new thing, are bored, move on. Like, it keeps players coming back, but not in a bad way. In like the way you keep, like, if they kept making Game of Thrones episodes and they were good, you would watch one every week. Like, you know, it keeps you coming back. But did it lose popularity? Its daily player count peaked at 8 million. Anyway, it's like one of the biggest games in the world, isn't it? So if you click on Genshin Impact and news, I mean, just all those things that I was just reading to you were news articles. If you just do Genshin Impact and news, then we're going to have some news about Genshin Impact, and it's going to be pretty recent. Where to find the Sangrease Pupa, the best weapons, the temple where sand flows, active update reward codes, how to get Yao Yao for free, Genshin Impact Lantern Rite rewards and challenges. A lot of it's going to be about this new content, isn't it? And it always will be, because there's always new content. So I'm not seeing the drama here in the news, but what I would say is, on a slow news week, you're going to publish a Genshin Impact story. Probably, look, this one's an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 5 hours ago. So and these are not huge media sources. Some of them are quite big, but, you know, these are the gaming media. Screen Rant, PC Games, The Gamer, Game Rant are pumping them out. Game Rant, Games Radar, the Nerd Stash, Silicon Era, Dextero, Pocket Tactics, Eurogamer, Sportskedia, Eurogamer, .esports, IGN India. It's big in India. So lots of media constantly being pumped out about Genshin Impact Genshin Impact, 7 mistakes players make when using, I don't know what it says there, but I thought that might be drama, but it's not. What I'm not seeing is drama, but what I would say is that if you have any sniff of any story in the Genshin community that's not the basic, like, it's not most popular characters or how to do XYZ, if there's a sniffed river story, you're going to get one of these gaming websites spin it up into a story, because they're desperate for Genshin Impact content on their websites, because it's the most popular game in the world and everyone's looking for stories. So a little drama might get magnified. You could imagine that. But again, through our own endeavour right now, we're able to scroll through it and find none. And when I say none, I mean none. So I might be wrong, but I'm not finding it. You are, in your world somehow. Genshin Impact is cancer. Carry on.
but also really complicated. It might ruin your mood because of how stupid it is, but let's take a look anyway. So as you all might know already, Genshin Impact's 3.0 update.
So people are just getting pissed off about nothing? Like, who cares? I mean, this happens in WoW as well. Like, this happens on every... Like, this is nothing special about Genshin Twitter. A bunch of game fans that are mad that the video game isn't giving them more rewards.
And that's not what happens. That happened that once maybe because of a specific thing where they felt they should have been rewarded. But in the main, day to day, I'm happy with the amount of rewards I get, and so is many other people on the internet. I've not seen anyone complaining that they're not feeling fairly treated. It's like, this is like propaganda. You strawmanned it. You said that people don't feel fairly treated in Genshin, and Asmongold's now reacting to that and saying, well, yeah, people don't feel fairly treated in video games. But it's not like that. I feel really fairly treated. I pay nothing, and I get loads.
Like, anytime I look at a Lost Ark tweet, or it's like, Buff Honing, like, fucking fix the bots, AGS killing this game, I'm sick of...
We don't have any of that. We don't have fix the systems. We don't have, like, bots killing the game. We don't have any of that.
Playing 12 alts to keep up with somebody who spends $10 a day.
Don't have to keep up with people who spend money because I'm just doing it at my own pace. Always will do, always. Even if they release more stuff and I'm like, oh, I want to keep up. I'm a streamer. I want to, you know, show it on the stream and do the story modes and that. It's all at my own pace. It'll always be there. I don't have to worry. I don't have to, like, oh no, this character's gone by. They'll come around again. You know, free to play. I haven't had to pump money in to get anything. They gave me enough free stuff to keep me well happy. Just chill the fuck out, dudes.
Like, it's just Twitter. I mean, I don't think this is that bad yet. I mean, I'm not sold on it yet.
And also,
promises to bring...
If you're the editor and you've edited this, which you have, why have you left that with all these adverts and popular now down the right hand side? Why haven't you just cropped that bit in the middle and made that big on your video? Like, maybe zoom into the person who published it and their name, or, you know, but just a full screen, including the header of the... You can't see because I do crop it from my little window here, including the header of the website and everything. It's lazy editing. It's lazy visual editing. Maybe some people are not that good at visual editing. You're making videos on YouTube, so, you know, think about it.
I mean, I'm not sold on it yet.
It promises to bring an entirely new region called Sumeru with a crap ton of...
Okay, so this is old news anyway, but yeah.
Content. A few weeks ago, the 3.0 beta tester applications finally opened up, and all the leakers were rejoicing. Finally, we're gonna get some new content in this.
So this is old content that we're talking about, but, you know, it's still a pertinent story, isn't it? It's still referencing how the community behaved.
Content drought. Now, were they exaggerating? No. Literally, from the first hour this beta came out, we knew everything. Characters, the map, all the content that's going to come in. By the way, one thing to keep in mind is that to even apply, like when you get accepted to the beta, you have to give them a picture of your ID. Most likely...
Well, yes and no here, right? Okay, so maybe around a specific event, the leaking of the information is toxic. But also, is there a game you've ever played or heard of that has not been leaked? Like, even now companies do their own leaking. Like, if no one's going to leak their stuff, they just self-leak it because it's part of a drip promotional... the idea that someone's leaked it makes it more interesting to people, so they pretend it's leaked when it's not. Like, it's marketing. And if you don't want to see that, then you can't really say, oh, Twitter and the Genshin people are awful because people are so desperate to learn and share. You just have to put your blinkers up and no spoilers, please, and I don't want to see it. And maybe I won't go on Twitter. Like, if you're not wanting to know these things 2 weeks before they come out, stop looking at the media because otherwise you'll see it all. It's part of the marketing.
Yeah, but like, I mean...
But I also think, you know, leaking is bad and we shouldn't all be leaking it. But, you know, every game, there's always at least one, isn't there? There's always at least one. Every game.
I mean, imagine if you live in fucking, like, Russia or something like that. And like, what are they gonna do? Well, I mean, really, what are they're gonna sue you? They're not gonna do anything. Like, nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, you live in some random fucking South American country. Imagine, like, you live in El Salvador. Like, the least of your concerns is getting sued by MiHoYo. It's just not a big deal. Yeah, they can sue you if you leak. Yeah, but they don't have any fucking money. So what are you gonna get?
And again, I believe the reason that they allow people to playtest, like if you wanted your playtest to be private and you didn't want it to be leaked, what you would do is you'd go to a professional playtesting company. Like, this is easy. If you're MiHoYo, you can do your own. But professional playtesting, I just put that. Professional playtesting and professional playtesters, computer games tester as a career, playing testing for success, playtesting, email introduction for your playtest, that's to playtest their games. I'm sure I could find a company that would provide me with a group of people to playtest my game for me as an indie developer. But taking a playtesting, what information? This might be it. Board game, just where to find playtesters for your indie game. Do not consent, thank you. Where to find them? Reddit's for free. This is for people just on the internet. But you know, hire professional playtesters. There's Fiverr. It's suggesting. I wouldn't go with Fiverr. I'm sure there's an agency somewhere, and if not, you know, listening to this on the internet, there's an opportunity. I'm not going to do it as a business. There's an opportunity for you. Professional playtesting with, I mean, you'd probably be able to sort it out in-house though, wouldn't you? You'd probably say, we are MiHoYo. We are hiring for temporary positions, playtesters for our next beta thing, and you'd be able to get a cross-section of society, get them all in, have them playtest, make them sign the NDAs, professional-like, and not, you know, you can't bring your phone into the office, you can't take anything out, and you just do it like that. If you want to control your people's access to the content like that, you would just do it. That's how they used to playtest. Having an online beta and allowing everyone online to look at it and share it and screenshot it and tell each other, that's part of the marketing. You feel like you're getting something secret early and you're all doing the word of mouth and you're doing it for them. Like, they probably hire people on the online system who are most likely to leak.
Passport, and you have to sign an NDA that legally binds you to Hoyo.
And doing that, signing it, just makes it seem even more, ooh, when people break it, doesn't it? So it makes it even more of a story. Honestly, it's psychological. It's part of marketing. If you wanted to control it, you could.
Like, you understand that, right? So why are people pissed? Are you gonna tell me? Are you gonna keep baiting me and teasing me like this? Come on, Mugen! Okay, chill.
Why are they mad?
Hey, buddy. Hey. I'm on your side, okay? But I mean, seriously, right? Like, what do you think? Is it because people are being spoiled content that they don't want to see until it comes out in the game? Is it because Hoyoverse are starting to pursue people legally?
I am actually angry about this cheap stock footage because it is actually worse than just watching someone run around in Genshin Impact picking Alberries or something.
Because they have their ID and private information. No, actually, good guesses, but no, it's about skin color.
Oh my god!
Oh, is that it? Is that what he's raising? Because that is actually, I mean, it's not huge, but it's a persistent tap on Twitter, and I agree. I 100% agree. It's not all the time, but it's a gentle tap. Like, I 100% agree. You look through the characters, they're all white, and even the ones that are slightly off, you know, slightly darker, are not anywhere near a realistic skin tone for any kind of diversity in our world. We're based in India, we're based in, like, it's just ridiculous. And okay, it's not England, sorry, it's not really Earth, it's actually Teyvat, but you take all the other influences, but you won't take body shape and skin tone. Like, got no built chuffers, no hench chuffers, no slightly portly chuffers, no just normal shaped chuffers. Everyone is svelte and athletic and white. You just have to take that on the chin. You have to accept it in the modern world. Like, there's a fan art of Daya, yeah? Daya's a desert dweller, and she doesn't even look like she's caught a proper tan, does she? Like, you can see enough of her skin there. She should have at least caught some sunburn. No, she's just not, like if I show, that's Daya, yeah, and if I just showed you, because the area that she's from is Egypt, yeah? Like, Egypt, let's just put Egyptian girl. Please don't show me anything weird. I'm assuming that we'll see someone slightly darker skinned, slightly more tanned than Daya in Egypt. I mean, that reasonably, like, a reasonable spectrum of skin tones there. It's not you know, all that. But then the actual, like, you know, it's the African continent, isn't it? So I will concede that their skin tone is fairly similar to some of these skin tones that I'm seeing here. I'll accept that. But I just think she's the best example, maybe. I expect to see a little more depth in the tone. It's a factual gripe that is acceptable.
No, they didn't put black people in the game, did they? Anytime that a game does that, people do not like it on Twitter. Oh no.
No, it's that they didn't put black people in.
Color. Probably thinking, yo, Mugen, you're kidding. There's controversy about skin color. What do you mean? This is like an anime gacha game. Who gives a shit, right? Well, buddy, go to #Sumeru on Twitter and you will find...
This is like an anime gacha game. Who gives a shit? You're missing, again, he's categorizing it like that because he's paraphrasing what other people say, I know, but it is missing the point of what Genshin Impact is, but yeah.
Find something interesting. You'll think, no, this isn't Genshin Impact. This must be a game called Ethno Wars. Now look, I want to make this clear. I'm not going to show the...
And maybe this video was made at a different time. The video by Mugen is 6 months ago. So, you know, maybe I did miss... Like, Asmongold's reacting to it today.
Hate everyone except the characters in the game.
So maybe I missed a bit. You know, maybe 6 months ago it was kicking off.
I mean, serious.
Oh no, they didn't put black people in the game, did they?
Who gives a shit, right? Well, buddy, go to #Sumeru on Twitter and...
Actually, that annoys me a little, because I'm trying to make an honest and unseen reaction, and the fact that I thought they were talking about... I thought this video dropped recently. I suppose it's my own ignorance for not researching that, but I felt that I was reacting to something that was... like, I feel like my criticism of their opinion is a bit unfair, because maybe it was kicking off 6 months ago and I wasn't looking through Twitter 6 months ago. I'm looking through Twitter today and it's not kicking off. But I suppose generally what I've said still stands. I think it's a bit of a shame that I was judging them from 6 months hindsight.
You will find something interesting. You'll think, no, this isn't Genshin Impact.
Actually, without the hindsight, I thought it was being presented to us yesterday.
This must be a game called Ethno Wars. Now look, I want to make this clear. I'm not going to show the characters in this video, not just because it risks having Hoyoverse come at me, open up my hole so wide that they'll start eating cereal out of it, but because I also don't want to spoil it for people who aren't spoiling themselves. But just know, the whole thing started when 7 characters from Sumeru got leaked, and only one of them had some sort of a tan skin tone.
Okay, the reason he's not showing the characters is because he doesn't want to show the Sumeru leaks, I suppose, because it was 6 months ago. But for posterity's sake, you're better off just actually showing the things you're talking about in your damn video, because now we can't look and compare. Thankfully, we play Genshin and we know everything that we just talked about, all our Haytham and all these people and Nilu and all that. You know, that none of them are anywhere near, you know...
Yeah, I knew it. See, as soon as you lay the foundation, I can already build the whole house. I know exactly how this goes. Yep. Gives a fuck. Jesus Christ. People just don't like it. Like, I don't know what to... Like, for every person that, like, it's like, you know, the boy who cried wolf racism. Like, oh, you know, this person, you know, I had a negative interaction with a person of a different race. They must be racist. Probably, maybe not. But there are actual people that are racist. Like, this happens. Like, they're not... Like, I thought, whenever we went to school, I thought that after the Civil War, it's like we fought a war, and, like, racism was over after that. Like, that's it. We pretty much packed it up, and that's in the past, and...
What I like about that naivety is that he, therefore, doesn't think in a racist way, I'm assuming. You know, good. You know, he's saying, like, racism, he thinks it's so dumb, it's so in the past that he didn't even conceive it was still going on, because he doesn't feel like that. Good. But it's naive to think that it doesn't go on.
Now we're in the future. And, like, I mean, I was, like, 11 or, like, 9 or something. So, like, what the fuck do I know?
Yeah.
And no, it took me a while to figure out, nah, man, people are still about this.
Mm-hmm.
One else was pale.
I'd like to make an important point here as well. That we play Genshin Impact, and if I just take the thing we're watching off... Oh, we're in Teyvat, aren't we? So we're in the card. I won't do that. I'll just show you on the internet here. If I just do Genshin, the map, So, oh, I don't want to see the full map. I don't want to see like that. Oh, I do want to see it, but I don't want to see it. What's that? Oh, I'm not going to look at that. I need to be in Genshin actually to show you, don't I, really better than this, because these are terrible maps. And I'm sure that was just that wasn't a real full map. I'm sure that was just an artist's impression. Here we go. Oh, it's the cat's tail. Right, let's go out then. There we go. So, Genshin is huge. What's really important, much like World of Warcraft, Genshin doesn't take place on one continent. And much like World of Warcraft, there are different cultures. World of Warcraft actually has different races in terms of orcs, humans. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that sort of fantasy world. That happens in Genshin Impact as well, I suppose, because there are Archons, the gods, and there are Adepti, and there are the Bokoblins, I was going to say, the Hobgoblins, the Hillychurls. You know, there are the baddies, there are the Abyss Order, so there are different races, and we're fighting, but we're not like racist against them. But what's important, that's interesting, that's different, in World of Warcraft, it literally was a race war between like the goodies and the baddies, the orcs and the humans or whatever. Very, very much like Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, you know, certain representations of concept there. What's important that's different in Genshin Impact is that this is Mondstadt, it's a bit more European, and then you move through somewhere that's a bit more Chinese. This is your new area, your second area, and it represents China. They use that as their they use China as their inspiration, and you actually end up going this way across the sea, no spoilers, to a much more Japanese influenced area. You know, you could call it Little Japan in a video game if you want. If you wanted to explain to someone what Narukami Island's like, it's like Little Japan. But, of course, it's not Japan. It's in Tevya. It's Narukami Island. Yeah? So, we call that Inazuma. But we all know that it's Japan influenced. And then you come back through, and the new area that's just happened is this area. It's much more green and lush. Vimra Village, Paradise Dai, Varanara, Sumeru City. It's much more Indian, Indonesian, Asian. That's where we're going with that. And it moves through to this desert. And it's got a pyramid in the desert. So you know where we're at there, don't you? We've gone through Arabia toward North Africa. So in the game, we're visiting and moving through and questing within and being part of the politics and lives of the people of different areas of the world that represent kind of different areas of our world. In their own way, they've got their own issues and things. Like in the more start point European fantasy, we beat a dragon. It was a bit more straightforward. You know, you felt like you knew where you were with that story. Heroes, knights, dragons. You know what I mean? In the days, in the stories of old, when the knights were all dead, and the dragons, when a knight won his spurs in the stories of old, he was gallant and brave, he was gentle and bold. Like there's a bit of that about it. Sorry, if I sing all that, it'll make me cry because it was a song from my childhood. Now we move through to something a bit more diverse and a bit more interesting. The Chinese mythology and these ancient gods, and then there's a politics between the people and the. Now, I'm not going to do complete story spoilers, but there's a politics between the people and their rulers at the Jade Chamber. I really should take you to these places while we're talking, but I will. I'll go and take you up the Jade Chamber while I'm saying it, 'cause you should see it. You should see it. You know, it's not just me talking in a video, like I was saying of that other person. But you've seen the map. Now look. Look at Liyue Harbour down there. I'm up in the sky in the Jade Chamber here. Because whoa, no, I don't want to fall off. I don't want to fall off. Right, we'll have a little look while I fly around then. You can look at the Jade Chamber in a minute from when I hit the ground and look up at it. But see Liyue Harbour down here. Look at how beautiful it is. And that's the city. And there's all these mountains and the world that we go and explore. The countryside. It's a wonderful, beautiful place. And what happened in Liyue when I arrived was their god was sort of retiring or trying to retire. It went a bit deeper than that. But the people at the Jade Chamber, look at it floating in the sky behind me. They're like the rulers, the Liwei Qixing. They have a contract with the people that they're going to be in charge, but they're going to do a good job and not be chuffers. And together, we had to fight a big sea monster. I don't want to give away the story too much, but we had to fight a big sea monster, and it all went a bit wild. And we did a good job all together. And because we did it all together, and the people could see us all working together, we sort of saved their world and established harmony. It was a really good story. It was really interesting and really wonderful. And I did all that in this place, as everyone else did, before moving on to a sort of mirror story where they had a different political issue here, where they had someone trying to steal their visions. The visions give you your power, your elemental power. Won't go too deep on it. You know, it sort of saved the world again. I sort of saved the world again. So we have these chapters, you know, like Sumeru's got its own story, main boss, main thing, but they add up to a bigger story as well, which is a story of the world. And we move through different places, and we experience, there's even different food and culture, you know, all that. And what I get when I'm in Genshin Impact is that we're not in a race war. Like when I'm in Genshin Impact, I'm not, categorically not, in a race war. Look, we're all here playing cards. We're having a nice time. There are baddies, the Fatui and the baddies and all that. There are baddies. I'm not in a race war. All the different people from all the different places are on my squad. He's from Liwei. She's from Liwei. She's from Liwei. All the people from Liwei are on my squad. And she's from she's from Sumeru. But I've also got other people that can be in my squad who are from all over the place. This is free to play, by the way. Look at all my cool characters. Free to play. Look at them. Look at all my good characters free to play. Anyway, I've got them from all over the show. Some of them are even, well, she was turned out to be a goodie, I suppose. But you can get baddies. I don't like the baddies. But you can be all the different characters from all over the show. They're all on the team together. They're all happy. They all work together. They're all cooperative. It's harmonious and it's wholesome. It's certainly not a race war. Mind you, they wouldn't have anyone to war with, because as you can see, they are all very pale-skinned. Very pale-skinned. And Kaya's supposed to be dark-skinned there, but that's him in the character model. So she's supposed to be darker-skinned, but that's her in the character model. And in terms of physical, I mean, what they have got is they've got 3 character models or 4. You know, with the men, I think there's tall man, shorter man. So if you're either a tall man, it's the same skeleton, isn't it? Shorter man, same skeleton. And with the ladies, you've got grown-up, where is the most grown-up lady? Grown-up lady, tall. Adolescent lady, I think we have to say. Now, I thought they were a bit more grown-up than that, but like teenage, I would say 19 to 20, maybe a bit younger. Grown-up lady, adolescent lady, and then child size, although she's a grown-up, but a child size grown-up like her, whereas there's some actual children. Klee's a child. I think Yaoyao's a child. So you see, it's the same character model. It's the same skeleton. So they have to introduce some more skeletons, because you can't just have, like, in terms of adolescent and adult women, they can't all be the same. Like, they adapt the physique slightly, I guess, but you know, where are the? It's like living in the 90s again, or the 80s, and seeing all those supermodels and immaculate body shapes, and you know, we went through all this in the media. We've talked about it. We're way past this now. So, like, we give children a more diverse and realistic representation of different kinds of bodies in media, because otherwise it gives them mental problems later on in life. Not all of them, but some of them. But Genshin Impact hasn't caught up with that yet. That's what's happened there. And that goes for skin tone too, of course. So that's why we have diversity in media products, and why you should. And if you're a responsible creator, you would, because you'd think, oh, I don't want to harm children. and make them have eating disorders and things because of the things they saw that they tried to aspire to and were unrealistic aspirations. At the same
If you're
time,
not sure what to do next,
some of your characters can be short or tall or anything. So that can include this sort of like svelte, you know, athletic physique, wouldn't it? That would include that, but you'd also see a variety. Okay. Let's go back to the video.
So now you have everyone on Twitter complaining about them being too pale, even though they weren't even meant to see the characters until a few updates later. Now look, there are some funny memes. Let's go through them real quick before we see the real degenerate shit that makes all Genshin players look so bad. Oh. Okay, okay, dude.
Okay, so I'll be fair, like, you know, Genshin Impact Twitter is Cancer is a bit of a heavy title. I thought they were being more general about today's Twitter, but we can be fair, like, it's okay that if something's kicked off and I've missed it, and these are actual examples of this harshness on Twitter, then fair enough. That's a meme, isn't it? Like white people all dressed as culturally diverse people, but I don't know what culture it is because I don't know, so maybe it's okay they're all dressed like that. Maybe that is their culture. I don't know what's going on. I get the joke.
Okay.
His name is Yusuf Al-Hadid. I get the joke again, although like, I do know people who would fit that that description, you know, white male, and have a name like Yusuf Al-Hadid. Like, I've met people like that, so I think, again, I see the joke is that we're saying Genshin Impact is misrepresenting the... No, we just talked about it all. I get the joke, but I think that's a bad example and a bad joke. So yeah.
Oh, so it's the opposite. It's that they were all white people, and there were no other race. This is okay. I thought it. So this is another group of people that get mad.
Asmon only just realised that, despite having it spelled out for him on the video. Is he getting loose with his reacts? What's going on? And when he went, okay, I think what he thought inside was, yeah, I'd be on their side, I agree.
Yes, yeah, it's the opposite, but it's really just the same, isn't it?
No, it's not the same.
It's actually just all the same.
No, because if you're arguing, oh, you've put a token black man in my game and I hate you now, then, there's a depth and complexity to that we can get into, actually, because I understand that the tokenism is not necessarily positive, but before it could be argued that the person was just a token white person. You know, why is the game developer not able to just make a decision about the gender or race of their characters, and you're going to be angry unless it is the one you thought it should be at the first place, but the developer put that in the first place, so they can change it. Like, it's like if we want to remake let's say we remake Star Wars and now Luke Skywalker's black and people are like, oh, you're just doing that for like to be woke, and you put black Skywalker in, oh, angry. And okay, I understand everyone's angry because you think you changed Star Wars, but what happens if back then Steven Spielberg had just had a black actor do Skywalker and he was always black? Then no one would be angry. When you changed it to a white person, they'd be like, oh, I want a white person, I want a black Skywalker, he's always black. Like, it's just what they're used to. It's like saying, like, I don't want you to change the recipe of my favourite cola, like, or Mom's home cooking is the best because it's what I'm used to. It's just what you're used to. Like, if you only drank Coca-Cola, you'd only like Coca. I hate Pepsi. And then if you were the same person and the only difference in your life was you'd never seen Coca-Cola and you'd always drank Pepsi, then one day someone handed you a Coke, you'd be like, what's this? This is slightly different. I don't like it. I like what I'm used to. It's not because what you're used to is the good thing. It's because it's what you're used to.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. Okay.
I think
right,
half the people that make posts about that stuff are joking, to be fair.
I'll admit
they were
there
just
are
jokes.
some
They were memes.
Really funny memes that came out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure these people right now are boycotting the latest Harry Potter game. That's true.
But unfortunately, it does have to be ruined by some individuals that make us look bad. No, not this.
Okay, so now he's talking like he's part of the Genshin community and he feels like inclusive in it. But earlier on in the video, he tweeted a meme joke that made us look bad.
No, not. No, not this. Listen, he has a child body pillow. What's wrong with that, huh? What's wrong with that? I just realized while editing how bad child body pillow sounds. Guys, just so we're clear, we're talking about Tartaglia from Genshin, okay? I'm talking about...
All right, yeah, child, as in, they call him Tartaglia. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Because I heard it as child body pillow.
Posts like this,
Okay.
all right? I know this person means well.
Okay, fine. Let's talk about why there's something deeply wrong with Sumeri's character designs. I've made several posts, but let's put this all together. Sumeri is supposed to be based on Sawana and South Asian countries. These are countries with people of colour. And it goes on. I can't read it.
All the people, I think,
Here we
causing
go.
this controversy are doing it because they mean well. They're not waking up in the morning telling themselves, you know what? I'm going to be annoying today. I'm going to be insane. No, those are just child mains, okay? And those people are special. They belong in their own group. Leave them alone. They're not hurting anyone, okay? Stop it. Stop being a bigot.
I think that there are a lot of people that wake up and they say, I'm going to be annoying today. It's just that they think they're making a difference.
Piece of shit. Leave.
It's all subjective in a way. I can perceive that some people on Twitter might have thought I've been annoying to them when I don't in my heart feel like you don't get the full context. You write it in a very quick throwaway thing and it can be sarky or a bit glib, and then people are like, oh, you fucking think this, and I'm like, no, you fucking not. But in the main, I'm all right on Twitter. In the main, although I, have my days, but I find myself being very reactive on Twitter. I don't think I go on there to be mean, or I go on there to be a comedian, or I go on there to be anything else. If I go on there to be something, I've got something I want to post. So usually it's a clip that I've been watching a clip of on, like maybe you might see something here and I might think, oh, that needs to go on Twitter. I'll clip it, I'll whack it up there, for me to the world. Things I think I might tweet about, or pictures of Genshin Impact, or also, if I'm honest, I use it as a marketing tool to try and promote what I'm doing on stream, show people what I'm streaming, show people what we're making, that sort of stuff. So you can probably find the only way I can actually talk about this fairly is to just look at my own account, isn't it? So live on Twitch we are. I tweet that. Larry Bundy I retweeted. Like I've always said, don't ever directly say don't like it, don't watch it to your fans audience. The second those words fall out your mouth, you might as well pack up your bags and fuck off home. It's literally game over for your career. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Like, that's a bad attitude, isn't it? Yeah, I get that, so I retweeted it. This is me rapping. We talked about it yesterday. I retweeted it because someone else has posted it. King Jad, I retweeted them rapping. This is Therapy. They're a band, and this is a real cool video summing up their recent tour, so I retweeted that. A football moment from my club that was retweeted. I tweeted YouTube creators, best type of videos to make during winter. Top 10 Eskimo words. Little joke. Hello Genshin Impact. This is my first Genshin Impact tweet there. I'm a streamer. Please give me the right things on my on my stream when I roll for the. I asked Genshin Impact to please give me the stuff. That's AI Amber. A tweet about trans people that I've put my political. You'll get a few political things from me here and there. I tweet about the old politics. Jenny Nicholson's tweeted and I've retweeted. I retweet other people with a little comment like that. For example, she wants movie theatre popcorn and I've said, I'll go for you. Actually, it might be sensible just to put the machine in at home. Like that obviously is a joke, isn't it? But sometimes I'll retweet something a bit like that and people won't read it as a joke. They'll read it as me being a bit weird or something. So that's a retweet from me there. This is a retweet from me here. Retweet DSP the Proud Boy. I posted that on the day that this notorious Proud Boy died of COVID. He was doing these Proud Boy symbols in his show for no reason. Honestly, like there he is, just holding up the thing. He wasn't talking about Proud Boys, but he was making the old. I don't know. I don't know. I just retweeted it anyway. This is a Genshin one. Doc Squiddy's tweeted it. I've retweeted it. This is a funny one. Look, she's so smug in this picture. She knows this is great publicity for her and her cause. She's been arrested. Greta Thunberg's being arrested by the German police. And I put, not publicly smug, banged by a team of angry German police smug. Because I was going to put banged up, but like the joke is, like, she fancies a bit of German totty. Get yourself picked up by the German police there, Greta. Oh, someone's having some fun tonight in the cells. 2 of them carrying you away. It's a saucy joke. And I like Greta Thunberg and her politics and the things she stands for, but I've made a saucy joke about it. So this is me retweeting Genshin Impact stuff. I made the clip, but I'll promote the YouTube. That's, we watch those videos, look, don't we? Yeah. I'm tweeting stuff. There's a retweet. Like, I'm not bad, am I? I'm not a bad chuffer. But every now and then, oh, this is where we found this one, didn't we? We found this chuffer. This was incredible, so I've been retweeting them. I want to try and find one where I've got into it with someone, because I do get into it with someone every now and then. But where do I get into it? I tell you what, I get into it a little bit with these people who promote the bullshit, fake power stuff. I used to get into it with non-vegans sometimes, well, farmers and people like that, but I don't really get into it with them anymore. It's the ASMR people these days that I get into it with, and I just want to find my most recent, we got into it, having a row. Here we go, this one will be it. Possibly the worst examples of ASMR triggers I've ever seen, I tweeted. In fact, when you scroll down, you don't see the full getting into it, do you? It was a tweet. But I'm blocked from them now, of course. But I got these replies, and there's the first one that was, how's your mom's base? Like, this person had put up their tweet about their triggers, and I thought they were really bad. It was really shockingly, face-palmingly, bad media. I can't show it to you because they blocked me, which is sad. But the worst example of ASMR triggers I've ever seen, comedy face laugh. Like, you would understand how funny it was. She's ASMR Evie. I'll show you how funny it is. Hang on. The only way for you to understand. What's she called? Is that the same person? EEVY. I'm looking for EEVY. I don't think that's the same person, you see that. Could be, couldn't it? No, it's this one. I mean, that's not what she looks like, that picture. Well, it might be. It might be a picture of her face. Anyway. This is not, I tell you what, this is not necessarily the best ASMR in the world. Honestly. Not the best ASMR in the world. And what she was doing, she'd done this like really fast, like go around. She was like at a garden centre or something, or like she was just going on the ground and on the floor, and like just a really fast go around of all this horrible stuff. And it wasn't ASMR. It was just. Like,
is your next holiday?
I don't know why I'm getting into this now, but I'm trying to give you an example of why I read. Like, here it is. It's like this. Right, calm the fuck down. It's not good. It's not good, right? So, and the tweet she'd made, it was wet as well, and it was mud, and it was all under her nails. Anyway, I retweeted it as a laugh face. Like, deal with it. Like it or lump it. The worst example of ASMR triggers I've ever seen. I got blocked after we had the conversation. Like, she retweeted. You can't see what she said back to me, which was horrible stuff. I said, your triggers are not very good. Yeah, okay, that's your video. Yeah, I'm having a go, but I'm not having a go at you as a person. I'm not saying you're ugly. I'm not saying you're fat. I'm saying you posted that on Twitter, and it's not very good. Yeah? Like, if you'd done a photograph, and it was, like, all out of focus, and it was, like, blurred out, and you got your thumb in the frame, I might retweet it and go, this is possibly the worst photograph, like, wedding photograph I've ever seen. If you were posting it, it's Twitter. Deal with it. But the way they deal with it, and this is the one that annoys me, is... how's your mom's basement today, buddy? Had your PB&J for lunch already? That's an ad hominem attack. I mean, I can take it, I don't care, but I wasn't saying she's fat, she's horrible, she lives in her mom's basement. I was saying this is not a very good ASMR video. So she's getting sour on me. They do. They get angry. It feels like you've nothing better to do except talk down on ASMR creators who are doing their own valid things. Evie wouldn't have a following if people didn't enjoy the triggers she does. Hello, what? I've retweeted once, like you saw in context of my tweets that I just showed you. I've retweeted once about this thing, and now I've got you all in my inbox. Oh, you don't like it. They get really cross. This guy, Lul, right, taking the piss out of me for not having many views on my Stray playthrough on the Super Chuffer channel there, which obviously is my live stream channel, so he didn't check the lives where we've got the more views. And I asked, what's his point? Because if... where's my picture? I'm sure I had a picture involved. Maybe it's not there. I'm sure I tweeted him, my other channel that had more views. I don't know where that's gone. Sure I did. Apparently I'm shock jocking. Say something you don't believe to get attention. No, I believe that was bad ASMR. But someone agreed with me. Look, I like how ASMR isn't ASMR anymore. It's isolated sounds that people tolerate. Like, that's my point. Yeah, agree. Like, you can't just go around hammering on the fucking garden centre and tell me you're an ASMR artist. Get out of town. So I have it like that. You know, I have it with some people where I say something and then they're like, oh, I don't fucking like it. But in the main, I have a lot of fun on Twitter, and there's no negativity really generally. So yeah, back to the video.
Them alone. As you can see, this post is long and it goes deep with the relationship of pale versus people of color characters in the game.
Oh my God.
Uses terms like colorism, Orientalism. Bro, what is...
You can tell. You can tell whenever somebody has a really good point on Twitter. Whenever somebody makes a really, really strong, good argument on Twitter, one way you can make sure that it's so strong is if they make it to where nobody else can reply. That way, there won't be anybody who even tries to come up against this amazing, just so well-reasoned argument.
The thing that I think is that Twitter is the wrong forum for something that long. The point of Twitter is it's just short quips. It's just short snippets. If you want to get long, you might do... What they do is they do a twit longer, don't they? Where they, like, write an essay and then they post it within... Like, no. The best thing to do is make a video. Start doing other forms of media that work as long form and really explaining and talk... Get the people onto your video and talk to them about it. Sorry, I've got to watch this again.
Go to sleep right now.
No.
Turn this phone off.
The best thing to do is what we're doing now, is react to it, make a video, make other kinds of content. Twitter is not a place, like, even if I'm using Twitter and you've got a great argument, if you have to write it out in more than one tweet, I don't want to sit there and read it. That's why I'm on Twitter. I'm scrolling through quick things and making a 2-minute, off the cuff response. I'm not thinking heavily, and like, this is after you've done all your heavy thinking for the day and you're just browsing a bit, isn't it? So, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe other people use it differently, but for me, I would say it seems to make more sense to me that in a media form that is deliberately short snips, you would probably not want to write essays and essays, and you can't deal with the response. So maybe it's better to turn off the replies, because one of the things I do respect about what they wrote, and I don't know what they wrote, but is they've taken time to form a really reasonable and long an opinion, like, with lots of thoughts. So lots of ideas have gone into that. I would actually more enjoy working through it bit by bit in a reaction video and dealing with that than I would just off the cuff tweet. But if you want to be successful on Twitter, do you remember when remember when Donald Trump was arguing with Hillary Clinton, and she was like, and he was like, because you'd be in jail. Like, she's like, oh, I'm glad you're not going to be running the country or something, because you'd be in jail. And like, everyone was like, whoa, doesn't matter about the whole debate, does it? The whole debate came down to, because you'd be in jail, crooked Hillary. Like, being able to do it's different. It's different, isn't it? Quick clip, quick soundbite politics, and Twitter's that for sort of forum. So, like, if you want to be good on there, it's like the difference between TikTok and Spotify podcasts. They're different. You do different things to be good in different spaces. So the long, reasonable argument that's well thought out, that's like written out like an essay, is great. But Twitter is not the place for it, and people can't. I think it's actually a good idea, if you're going to present that on Twitter, to turn off that. Sometimes as well, you want people to hear what you've said, and I don't want to reply to it. Like I learned this with that trolling I got from that way back. That other thing. It happened on Twitter a bit, where I would get like, you're one person. So I'm trying to find something I got some responses to. It would have to be that ASMR thing was the last, and it wasn't loads, was it? It was just like 4 or 5 responses. But you're one person and you've got 4 or 5 different chats to deal with, different people picking at you for different reasons, having their different, and so you've got 4 or 5 arguments on the go essentially then, haven't you? And like, having 4 or 5 arguments on the go is like having 4 or 5 plates to spin, and it's stressful. And you're one person, and the minute you start to reach out and touch lots more people, and more people start on something like Twitter, you don't want to respond to all your notifications, do you? Because it's even more difficult. And if something blows up and gets lots of response, how are you going to it becomes stressful? It's less likely you're even going to do anything about it at all. I think. So it's a funny inverse graph between the amount of attention something gets and the amount of replying and attention you can give it. You run out of energy, you run out of time. So if you are popular, and Asmongold probably understands this, you probably don't want to respond to a lot of things, and it's probably easier to put your stuff out there and say, this is what I think about this. And then if you want to deal with it, you deal with it. But this is what I think about it. I don't want to deal with what you know, I know what you think because you've said it on Twitter and you said this and that. This is what I think. And I'm fingers in ears, I'm going to have a bath. You know, I can understand that attitude to it because this is obviously a very thoughtful person who thinks a lot about, I can't read all what they've said, but it's obviously a very thoughtful person who thinks a lot about the subjects to have written all this stuff. So they can't, like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tweets on the screen there. You're getting, say, let's say 10 people have got something different to say. That's 60 tweets. Like 10 people on each tweet. That's 60 tweets. What are you going to do with that? You can't respond to that. Like, yeah, maybe turning off replies is good.
Yeah, it's every time, bro. Every time you see this, it means the same thing.
Bro, what is this? A presidential debate in the United States? Hello? It's
funny because the presidential debate argument, like I just said, it does never, like, the debate's important to some people, but most people are not going to watch the full length of the debate and come up with a reasonable, all right, well, on fossil fuels they said this, but on taxes they said this, and I thought at the end of it that I like this guy more, or I think she's got a better way about her, or do you remember when she did the mic drop moment, or do you remember when he said lock her up, you know, that sort of stuff. It doesn't really, for the average voter, you know, they're not thinking that this phrase has been going around the detractor community this week. It's not that deep. Yeah, it's not that deep.
Video game, man. It's fictional. Can you stop bringing your politics into a game? This is why
it's gonna make
no, it's not. It's a video game. That's a ridiculous argument. You can't say, oh, it's Teviat, so it's not real. It's obviously based on all of like, it's obviously based on all of different themes from our world. All of the culture that they reflect. You can't just say we're going to have the pots, the pans, the plates, the cups, the architecture. We're even going to have the dress, the clothes, some of the concepts from folklore and mythology, and the skin tone. No, it's a fantasy world. They'd probably all be white. Like, even Star Trek was diverse. Because they had aliens, it's a joke. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there is diversity in Genshin Impact, because you could be a hilly churl, couldn't you? You could be a great big Mitta churl. So don't tell me there aren't big chuffers in it. You can't play as them. You kill them, but they are there. It's just like, it's like saying, like, you know, Lord of the Rings is diverse because there are orcs. Yeah, like, it is important to have these conversations. So get out of here with that. Like, the most popular media format of our world, the most popular media format in the world, and the most popular piece of media on it, you can't have a conversation about diversity and inclusivity and body image. Like, Instagram, the platform that people post their shit on, they have to have that conversation. Suicides, self-harm, bulimia, anorexia, children growing up, big, like, if you put on let's have a box and let's put all the problems that children growing up in the Western world can have. They're some of the big ones that have been, like, someone's chucking in a load of bulimia on me. Oh, like, my box is filling up with cases of anorexia due to misalignment with body image and self-value and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is true, isn't it, what I'm saying? So, of course we need to think about this. Okay, it's made in China, or it's made in Japan, or it's Chinese, isn't it, miHoYo? So, okay, maybe they're not thinking the same way as we are in the West with our cultures, but we can talk about it, and we should.
Sense, right? Like, this is one thing that people might not understand, is that it's like, I remember they had the Final Fantasy devs talked about this recently, and it's like, there's a lot of white people in Final Fantasy. It's the same with Genshin Impact. Why? White people and Asian looking people. Because it's made in fucking Japan. It's made in fucking China. Big surprise that the games that are made in this country are going to have a whole lot of people that look like the people in that country.
Yeah, but not exclusively. And it's no excuse to say, well, you know, we're making them in a fairly narrow, ethnically narrow environment, so it It should reflect our culture. I've shown you on the map. We go through the different cultures. We're going to India, to Arabia, Sumeru and the desert, and Inazuma, and Mondstadt is more European. Like North Africa is represented. I think it's a bit unfair to say, yeah, but we're all Chinese people that make it, so all the people are getting the character, and like that is a bit silly, isn't it? And also, you get fat Chinese people and thin Chinese people and tall Chinese people and short Chinese people. So where's the diversity in body shape like that? Why is it child, adolescent, adult, svelte? Why is svelte the right word? I'm thinking it means like vulpine. Slender, lithe, yes, it's the right word. I think it's obvious what I'm saying stands, and that you can't argue against and simply say you're making it for a global audience, and you're one of the biggest media producers in the biggest format. So it would be like, let's make an equivalent. Let's say we're making a film, and it's a really successful series of films, or Game of Thrones or something like that. And like Game of Thrones is the next best example, actually, because it's ongoing, isn't it? And we were all excited for the new series, the next series, or whatever most recent ongoing. Game of Thrones caught global attention, didn't it? It was like and cross-platform in a way, cross-generation. Like Walking Dead did that. There aren't that many pieces of media that pretty much everyone's enjoying. Even if you didn't watch, or Harry Potter, I didn't read Harry Potter, but lots of people did. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be like saying, right, we're doing Game of Thrones, and it's going well on Amazon, and we're into the third series now, and we're yet to have a black main character, and we're yet to have like any woman over the waist size of 8, and we're yet to have. Do you know what I mean? It'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it? And it wouldn't be because, oh well, it's a fantasy world, and they're all thin and good looking and white. Like, it wouldn't be that. It would be, and it wouldn't be like, oh, you're trying to be woke by having different ethnicities in it, but it wouldn't be that. It'd be like, it would look weird now to us because we've been through those schisms. We've seen the 70s and the 80s. We've had the ripple effect on society, and we've seen the damage things that, like magazine covers and all this. Now, like, it'd be like Star Wars now, and it not having Ren and. Think of the Star Wars cast now, and you can say, oh, it's woke Star Wars with a black guy and a woman, but like, it would be like if you did a new Star Wars now, and they were all just like, strong white men, and then you had like 3 or 4 skinny white women. Like, it would be if Blackpink were the cast of Star Wars, Blackpink and BTS were the cast of Star Wars, wouldn't it? It'd be like that. You'd be like, what? They all look a little bit, extremely beautiful in space, don't they? Like, they've all got good genes out in space. Look at them. Like, do you know what I mean? It would be weird. And yet, the biggest computer game franchise is getting away with it. Like, I think it's okay that the people that consume that media hold them to account and say, hang on, we kind of have a bit of an issue here. That's fine.
It's like, you even go and you look at the pictures, like, go Google Jesus in Korea. You know what you're going to see? Korean Jesus.
True.
There's a Jesus of every fucking shade and color just because people want a Jesus that looks like they do. That's how it is. It's the same fuck.
So the problem here is that Genshin Impact is a global game and is consumed all around the world, and that's why it's successful. And when we go to those regions in the game, we don't expect the characters to still represent the Chinese people it's made in China. So, and actually the first region is European. So it represents a different culture to them from the first region. Happens to be white people, but it's a different culture. And then we go to China, or Liyue, and the people there are supposed to be a bit Chinese, aren't they, I suppose? Then we go to Inazuma, they're supposed to be a bit Japanese. But when we get to Sumeru, and this is why this kicked off, is then there are places that you're supposed to see this diversity. And always, we're still talking about body shape, but in skin tone, like, what happens if we go to Africa and there are literally no black people there? Like, well, is it going to get a bit silly? Like, can't we have a real reflect? If we're having a reflection on the other culture, what's wrong with having the skin tone reflection in the game? It seems really simple to fix as well. It's just like in the game, it's just like a simple tool, isn't it? A shade or a recoloring. And so your argument is that because the game is made in China for Chinese people, like Korean Jesus, it looks like the culture it's sold in. My argument is Genshin Impact's bigger than that. It's sublimated being a Chinese game. It's a global game, and it's crossed all those different borders. And to not represent all those different communities that are consuming it, like to not have a little bit of like other games that are really good at doing this. I think Overwatch does it in a really good, like clever way. Is they've got a diverse set of characters, and it doesn't matter where you're from in the world. You could probably pick one and say they're a bit like. Not being stereotypical here, but a bit like us and the way we do things. A bit, you know, I identify with them from my cultural perspective a little more because of the diversity. Maybe there's somebody that you might, you know, let's say for example, you had to, you know, you had to say this one's going to represent this country and this one's going to represent this country and this one, or has a bit of this about them. Like you'd be able to maybe throw them around on the map a bit. Maybe I feel like I don't think that's like necessarily a bad thing. You know, having that like cultural diversity represented in a cast of characters and being able to sort of say, yeah, you know, like you would suit this culture, sort of thing. Yeah.
Good reason why we have games that have a lot of different kinds of people.
So my argument stands then. We have games that have a lot of different people in because we have a lot of different people in our cultures. But I'm playing Genshin Impact. Like, it's being sold in my region. So, like, why is it not coming up to the same standard as you just described games that we play do?
Because there's a lot of different kinds of people in America. It's what makes sense. You know, I mean, come on. I don't know how people can't figure this out.
Because it's not being made in my region. I shouldn't, you know, I don't know. I think it's global now. I think it's got beyond borders.
Like Genshin Twitter and fandoms in general. And of course, their last reply on the thread is in a very stereotypical fandom way.
I mean, I say that. I understand there will be some games that are created in cultures that I have no real access to, and like Japanese games that I will never play that are very culturally narrow in their vision, I suppose. So I do think that is acceptable. But I think if you were to be creating one of those games and it was to become globally popular, and then actually, this is a really interesting point. Should you then be able to maintain that now? No, I think that my point stands is that Genshin Impact makes sense because it's culturally diverse in its application. We go through these different lands and they reflect these different cultures. It is about cultural diversity, the journey that we're on. Like, that is a subtext and a background to it. So the characters themselves to not be diverse is strange. Yeah, like the DNA of the characters, the skin tone, the body shape. Yes, that is strange.
Yes.
I've muted this conversation and I won't be responding to people who can't read through what I've written before coming up with their arguments, so don't bother.
That's right, yeah, because like why even give them the opportunity to waste their own time whenever you already know that you're right?
It's not maybe that you already know that you're right. It's that, like I said, I've actually been in a situation where instead of replying to 20 people with the same damn reply, I've covered this already in my last message. Like, I just made a video instead. Like, it's like a frequently asked questions, and she's written so much. I don't know, has written so much in their twit long there that it just, yeah, I would feel the same as them. I don't want to deal with all of your responses. Read what I've written, think about it. That's enough for me.
True.
So pretty much, if you read through this thread and you don't change your opinion to their opinion,
you're stupid.
Something's wrong with you.
Yeah, you're stupid.
Okay, so you're weird, and this isn't the only one. No, sir.
I don't know. No, I think if that would be to reply to everyone and say, no, you're stupid. No, this is this. No, this is this. No, no. Reply to everyone. No, I think at some point you've got to just put your information out there, and it's up to them.
There's a reason why this is cancer. Mihoyo and their Orientalism and racism.
Oh.
A thread. Okay, all right. You just really called them out here. Okay. RTN like to educate people. In no way or form is this trying to boycott or cancel them. Bro, you just called them racist.
No. Yeah, it's not to boycott or cancel them, though. It's like saying, like, we want a change in the game, and we would like to see this. Like, if you're going to represent in this way, you have to take the title. Like, they haven't called you Hitler Nazi. They've called out what they say is prejudice. And you could say, what kind of prejudice? Well, racism. It's a bit heavy, isn't it? Well, if you look in the game, there's no black people playable. Is that racist, or is it just because it's a Japanese game? Well, we go to Sumeru, which is like India, and then we go to the North Africa, and we don't see any sort of like darker skin tone than like a light tan. And let's not get into the physical body shape of the people. So, like, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's not representative enough at all. Like, not diverse and inclusive enough. Not by the standards of a Western audience. Not at all. All right, okay. So you could say racially insensitive, maybe, if you wanted to be less harsh. But like, ultimately, let's deal with this problem. Let's just put some more people of diverse background. Like, they've got diverse backgrounds. Let's just put some more. Let's change the skin tones on some of the models, and let's change the body shapes on some of the models. Let's just put a bit of that in. Let's design that in. Let's make sure we go heavy on that next time. And then this is the problem with companies, isn't it? Is they go heavy on that next time, and people are like, "Oh, you're so woke, I hate you." And they're like, "But you just asked us for this." So maybe don't go heavy on it next time, but just start filtering it in. Yeah. And some people at some ends of the scale on Twitter are going to say things in a very blunt way. That's what Twitter is. If you don't use a blunt instrument on Twitter, like, I guess you can be subtle and nuanced and get your point across, but Twitter seems like a quite blunt place. So things like that are then going to get controversially retweeted and risen to the top, aren't they? And now we're talking about them here. But it was just a tweet.
Wait, is racism just some word now? Like, yo, hey, you're stupid. Yo, hey, you're racist. Like, you just call your friends racist now? What do you mean you're not trying
to be fair, I think most normal people do that as a joke, but on Twitter, you can't have that. Yeah.
It's interesting that they're using stock photography that actually illustrates this point here, because these three men in the boardroom are all white men doing the power thing with the suits. But we just had a stock photograph of
word now? Like, yo, hey, you're stupid. Yo, hey, you're racist. Like,
in this one, that's like diversity 101, isn't it? Like, there's women, there's black people, there's Asians. Oh, that's the full. We just need a wheelchair, and then we've got it all there. So, like, I don't know if they're really understanding that they're making these subtle points with their, because they were so haphazard in their use of stock photography earlier. I don't know if they're making that point here, but it kind of feels like they might be understanding what they're putting up as stock photography here.
You just call your friends racist now? What do you mean you're not?
But are they suggesting that the people in the boardroom are white males and that's why they're making these decisions? But, or are they just using what is definitely a patriarchal? Because now the message here that is subtle is the men in the boardroom are all men and they're all white. Like, you can be a normal chuffer just with your mates. Like, I just, the previous picture.
But, yo, hey, you're racist. Like, you just...
And not be serious and have your headphones on and, the kids of today, at college and that, with their casual clothes. But the serious
You just call
people,
your friends racist now? What do you mean?
The serious people who are doing all the serious business, they're all white men. So, get that in your head.
To be fair, I think most normal people do that as a joke, but on Twitter, you can't have that. Yeah, I've had plenty of friends say stupid shit like that all the time.
Cancel them or boycott
I think there's a lot of people that spend all day on the internet and they never have any real life friends that weren't.
This was leveled at me the other day of spending. I mean, I've cut him off in the middle of a sentence, but you spend too much time on the internet, and like, I think these days people spend a lot more time on the internet than they realise. Like, I've got a phone, and when I'm not broadcasting or editing, which is sitting at the computer, I might be walking the dog. I don't look on my phone while I'm out walking the dog. I don't, scroll Twitter when I'm out in the woods. But if I'm cooking food in the kitchen or something like that, I might be on the internet again, looking on Twitter or a YouTube video. When I go to bed, I listen to a bit of videos on YouTube. Like, it's not often that I'm spending an extended period off the internet. Let's say that. Like, the most extended periods off the internet are when I'm sleeping or when I'm walking the dog or eating or something, or talking to people, I suppose. I suppose it's when you're actually engaging with, but even when you're engaging with people, like, we're at my sister's house the other day, and like, I don't get my phone out, but other people do. Like, it's normal, isn't it, to just be, you check your Twitter or maybe the news or something on the internet. Yeah, I'd ask a good question would be, how long do you spend away from the internet on a particularly, reasonable, normal day? And for me, it's not an incredible amount of time extended between internet visits, but I certainly don't spend all my life on the internet. Mind you, I've chosen to give up going to the pub. I used to go to the pub a lot and see all my mates and do a lot of drinking. Decided not to do so much drinking, more thinking and being on the internet. And it's actually going to lead, like, I've met people that I'm now not more social with, but like, I'm going to be building the content in the future, aren't I? I'm going to be building this, and we're going to be doing the podcasts, and I'm doing more constructive things with than people that I just sort of, like, I've still got friends that I will just sit around with and talk to and just chill with, but and friendship and work aren't the same thing necessarily, but you know what I mean, like, it's a different thing from just going to a pub and sitting there in the evening and just drinking your money away. Being on the internet can be a positive, social, constructive environment as well. Anyway.
Created through the...
Cancel them or boycott
I
them.
think there's a lot of people that spend all day on the internet and they never have any real life friends that weren't created through the internet. So they don't know. Like, I remember we went out to, like, there's like a basketball court. Bro, this like a year ago, these guys were talking like it was 2004. Okay? They didn't give a fuck. And it's like, I've been to other places. Any place that's not like fucking everybody comes from the internet here, people say whatever the hell they want. One night, yeah, Cody was there. Yeah, exactly. You're calling out your chat. No, I'm saying it's a lot of it's a lot of people on the internet forget that the internet spaces that are curated in this way are not representative of what the average population experiences in real life.
So I understand the concept here. If I was on the internet, I'm on the internet now doing a video. If I were to suddenly call you a homophobic slur, then this video would be basically either taken down automatically, or it would be against terms of service. So someone would be able to report that, and the people would review it and say, "Oh, no, he's being a rude chopper there, saying something that's against the terms of service. That's antisocial, against the social terms of service as well, like the social control." So in this instance, my video would be taken down. I'd be reprimanded by the people that produce the websites that I upload my videos to. Twitch and YouTube would have a problem. I would be socially controlled by that mechanism. Either I do more of it and get in trouble and have to do it somewhere else on the internet, or I stop doing it. I think I could go on like some dodgy forum or other site and do a lot of calling you a homophobic slur, or I could stop doing it. I don't do it, obviously, but this is Dark Side Phil's problem. But the social moderation on the internet is happening because of these mechanisms. You post the actual words, you write them down, they are there, and they can be reported on and recognised and judged. Yeah? Like, if you're just a racist, but you're not saying it on the internet, no one knows you're a racist, do they? So you don't get judged for being a racist and banned. But if you come on here and start posting a load of, like, Hitler did nothing wrong, anti-Semitism, then, like, just like Kanye West is another example. Like, eventually you hit the border of what's acceptable to these people on their platforms, the rules, the social rules as well, because we all make the rules. And that was a question on Twitter when Elon Musk was just taking over. He's very right-wing. It's controlled by right-wing people. I'm still on there, but you have to understand it's controlled politically by right-wing people. Okay, some people didn't like that, and the politics and what will be allowed to be said and what won't be allowed to be said, and who's banned and who's not banned. That's the social contract, that's the social discussion that we're making. If you want to be on it, you do. In society, it's similar to being, like, if I was in a pub and someone was doing a load of racist abuse at someone, then socially, Asmongold is saying, okay, well, Asmongold isn't saying a load of serious, like, let's say you just drop the F-bomb or the N-word in conversation in a pub, and then, like, it happens and people hear it, and that's that. That's the sort of thing Asmongold said. Pubs are different in the UK than, like, you're in a bar in America and someone does that, or you're on a basketball court, like you said, and someone says that. Maybe even you don't reprimand your friends if one of you says it in jest with your friends. So you hear these things, and on the internet, that would be a ban, cancel, wouldn't it? If you were representing McDonald's or you were representing Genshin Impact on the internet, on the official Twitter, you'd be banned and cancelled. But because it's just people chatting in a bar or someone saying so, it's not banned and cancelled by society. It just goes on. Well, I'd actually counter that with, in our society, that is exactly what happens. Is, like, I was in the pub once, someone was doing the racist thing, and I said, "Hey, I don't like that racist thing you said. Stop it." We had to talk about it. Like, socially as a group in the pub, I think it was a murmured, uncomfortable moment, but, like, you find out if you are socially backed by the group, I guess, and whoever is the social infringement, whoever's done the social infringement, like, hang on, mate, we don't do that round here. Like, wind your neck in, or we'll all tell you as a group to shut the fuck up, or we'll kick you out, or what, you know what I mean? Like, you socially control these situations in group psychology, just naturally as a group when they occur. Like, you don't always have to call the police and wait for the police before the police sort out the infringer. Quite often, socially, people will step up themselves and say, oh, we're not standing for this. This is our social guideline and rule of where we will accept. And it can be language, or it can be, behaviour. Often we do leave it to the police when it's serious, but the reason we call the police is because we've got a social line that we are actually happy with, we agree with. Like, it's not like, oh, those damn police stop me from stealing everything all the time, and like it's not fair because theft should be legal. Well, actually, most people would agree you shouldn't be allowed to go and steal things out the shops. So most people, if they saw someone loading up their bags with free stuff and then running out the door, and they had the chance to just like trip them up or something, most people would trip up the runner, wouldn't they? Or some people might feel, the government don't pay us and they deserve it. I don't know how, if someone's stealing an iPhone or a laptop off somebody in the street, if someone's robbing someone in the street, you feel the robber is a baddie and stop them from doing the stealing. It's social control. So in certain situations, society steps up. And I'm surprised that Asmongold is saying, I don't know what he's exactly saying, but he might, I get it. If it's just me and my mates and we're playing Xbox and someone called me an F word, or it'd be funny in our circles because we could use these slurs, but we would understand we were doing it deliberately to be excessively savage and how would I explain this? Like, to make a joke of racism by being stupidly racist. Like, we're not. I think that makes sense. I think it does make sense what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't often use a slur like that for any reason of those, but if it did, I'm sure within my friendship group I could say these words that I couldn't say on the internet within a certain context, and it be not like the end of the world, not cancelled, like, because I wouldn't be racist, and they'd know it. So, like let's say, for example, I met my friend. Like, this is why some of these words are used more as a friendship terminology, aren't they? You met your friend and you say, "What's up?" Like, homosexual slurs are a good example of this as well, because the gay community take ownership of homosexual slurs in the same way as the black community took ownership of the N-word. So, it's those sort of contexts that words can be acceptable to different It's all context. It's all context. But what I would say is, in a general social context, if I heard something that I thought generally socially wasn't acceptable, if I saw someone pushing a woman over, I'd go and say, "Hey mate, we don't push women round here." You know what I'm saying? And if I heard someone giving someone a load of homophobic abuse, I'd go over and say, "Hey mate, we don't say those sort of things round here." And I would expect the general vibe in the bar to be on my side. Because if the general vibe in the bar was, "No, we hate fucking these people and we're all chuffers," then I'd be like, right, I'm in the wrong fucking bar, aren't I? Like, I'm about to get my head kicked in by all these chuffers. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's why we need to, as society, stand up and back people. And, if you see someone having a hard time on the bus, you say, "Hang on, mate." Like, no one wants to get involved these days because you might get stabbed. But you know what I mean? If it's a verbal confrontation, most people try and get involved and talk it down, and we ascribe our own social, and we won't put up with certain things. If you saw someone writing great racist graffiti, you might shout, "You dickhead." Like, stop. The other day, this is a long time ago now, actually, probably years ago, I was walking my dog and I saw them with their dog did a poop and they didn't pick it up, they just walked off. And I went, mate. I was shouting at them, like, "I've got bags." I picked it up and chased them up the road. "Here's your dog poo. You need to pick up your dog poo, you idiot." And we just socially, we just like, there's certain lines that are okay to draw and say we don't put up with that round here. Like, littering is another good one. If you see people throwing, like, someone drops some litter out their car window, I think it's quite socially acceptable to pick it up and poke it back in the window and say, "You dropped this." It might kick off a big thing. I'm not advising you do it. You need to be ready for the big kick-off. But don't throw your litter in my environment I live in, or the world that we live in. Take that home. Put it in the bin. Like, it's social, isn't it? So what I'm hearing from Asmongold is that, okay, if it's your mate and your mate calls you an F word or an N word, or, like, you're being silly, you don't have to reprimand your mate and say, "You're a bad racist," because obviously they're not. But if you're in a bar or a sandwich shop and someone's done this and said that, you should at least be comfortable enough to say, "I'm recording this on my iPhone for my own safety, and I don't think it's acceptable to use that language. Please calm down and please don't do that anymore." And like, do you know what I mean? Like, in a reasonable way. And if they respond with unreasonable behaviour, you might say, "This is getting unreasonable. I'm not not interested in the unreasonable aspects of this conversation. Like, or you might be prepared to, to do other things. I don't know, but what I'm suggesting is that as a society, we find that balance.
Life.
And I'm surprised if Asmongold is in a society where they don't feel they can speak up and find that balance.
Is a lot of people on the internet forget that the internet spaces that are curated in this way are...
Because the internet's curated, it happens automatically by these mechanisms, so you expect these rules and things to go your way in society, and it might not go your way in society. In the pub, everyone might be a racist and not back you, so that's why some people spend more time on internet spaces.
Not representative of what the average population experiences in real life. But yeah, most people say stupid shit like this all the time. Like, I see it everywhere.
You called them
I'm
racist.
sure for some people it's different, though. I mean, obviously for some people it's different. That's just my experience.
This is a heavy word. And this right here is my favorite, and it sums this all up in an amazing way.
Yep.
So I first saw this post, I was thinking, okay, Genshin fandom, here's y'all chance to prove that you can multitask and care about the prominent issues in your community. Okay. I was thinking, wow, someone is finally standing up, like, yo, guys, chill, right? You're making us look bad, right?
Yeah.
But then you read the rest of the post.
Whether it be mass emailing, refusing to spend money on the game, or dropping 1-star reviews on every site the game is on, those Sumeru designs gotta go!
And look at...
Yeah, agree. That is just... it's stupid. This is the person who, when the drama starts in the bar, instead of, staying to help calm it down and agree or disagree, right, they're like, oh, did you hear what so-and-so said? Oh, quick, go and ring so-and-so and get... don't go overboard and become the very thing that you... Not the very thing that you despise, but don't become worse than the thing you're critiquing in this aspect. Yeah, that would be childish and silly, and it's not going to solve the issue because it will be seen as a... The problem with this, like, let's say for example you're in the pub and I've said to the chuffer, oi, I don't really like that racism that you're doing. Can you stop that? And they say, no, F you. Here's some racism for you chuffer. Then I'm like, well, this isn't going well. Like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to punch you right in the nose. Yeah, and then I punch them right in the nose, like the equivalent, mass emailing, refusing to spend money, dropping one. I just jump to an extreme and like punch them right in the nose. Then after all the stuff has died down, when they go home, they're not going to say, do you know what? That bad racism I was doing was well wrong. They're going to say, those people that didn't like my bad racism, they punched me right in the nose, and they're bad chuffers. So I'm right to be racist because they punched me right in the nose. So actually, I have to be able to like control myself to the point where they're going to get angry and talk about punching people in the nose, and I'm going to say this is not about punching people in the nose. Like, if you want to talk about some serious, interesting conversational things, I'm actually kind of on your side, and I understand that you're angry in ways, and I hope that we can have a, we're in a pub. Like, this is the beautiful thing about a British pub as well, is things can break out into a fight. Like, that's not beautiful, it's just a fact. But also, like, maybe not with the younger generation, the Weatherspoons generation, the Let's Get Loaded generation, but like, in a bar, even with strangers, you're up at a bar, you talk to people, different cultures, and you can say, look, let's not let it get out of hand. I want to hear what you've got to say. And that's better, isn't it, than having a punch on the nose or punching me on the nose, because you get to do some talking and I get to, here's £2.50 for the jukebox. It's expensive these days. Let's put you choose a track. What's your favourite music on the jukebox? I like to do that sometimes in the night. I don't know, I might be tripping. I'm sure my friends will attest that I put a lot of stuff on the jukebox. There was another time, actually, I made a real ally in the pub once. We were out having a cigarette, and this guy, like, my local pub's a bit rough. This guy was out having a cigarette as well. He was like, can I have a cigarette? Yeah. And like, he looked pretty rough, and he explained to me that he was just out of prison, and that he showed me his arm, and he'd like burned it with a lighter. Like, he was in a bad way. Like, he'd come out of prison and he wasn't happy, and he was in a bad way. And I just stayed with him and talked to him for about it was one of those situations where you think, like, I hope this isn't going to go bad, because he's angry and upset and potentially violent, and I don't know him, so I could be the stranger that he kicks off on. But in the end, like, we had a good chat, and I think these days he's doing really well. I think last I heard of him, he's doing really well, and like, I would count him a friend. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though I don't really know him or speak to him, guy from the pub that had a bit of a chat with. I went to the pub regular, so like, regular chats with. We both got out of there Is a good way to look at it, because spending all your life at the pub's not the best, but it's, when you're young, you do what you do, don't you? Anyway, like, that's much, much better. Even if the chuffers are racist or saying something like bad racist, I'll step in and then try and calm it down and maybe buy you a drink and maybe we can have a chat. And, you know, even if we don't finish on common ground, we've got some stuff to think about. And instead of spending all evening being a bad racist, you spent all evening talking to someone about ideas. I don't know. You might make friends that way. I might be leading you up a dark path where you get beaten up by racists, so don't listen to me. But that's the way I see it anyway, and I see this as being really stupid. This is the equivalent of jumping to their same level. Someone does some bad racism, so you throw a bottle or like, act like a dickhead. And I used to be like, fight the power, but like, chill out. Like, let's talk.
The image, man. Guys, can we mass email Genshin support or something? I'm dead serious. Like, threaten them, Like, yeah, let's just show
I love how, and especially the people that are threatening, see, like, probably, I guarantee you that, like, these other companies that are overseas, number one, a lot of the fucking PR people know over there, like, they don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter if, like, 600 of the most socially maladjusted American teenagers boycott you. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be fine. People in China don't care. It doesn't. Yeah, it's like you cannot even express how much they don't care.
I think when you're part of the Genshin community like that on Twitter, I don't know, for these people I'm not talking because I don't know, but you can feel like it's a big wave of things happening. You zoom in on the thing you're interested in and you're in that community and you see all these hashtags and these things happening and you feel like you could maybe create some waves. It's like you get caught up in the idea that waves are happening. And when you zoom out and step back, it's like some people are tweeting about, like now we're looking at it a few months later, it's nothing, is it? It's just like some people are tweeting about some stuff. So the big themes still stand. Whether we should have diversity in Genshin Impact, that still stands. But any tweets and whatever tweets were popular back then are just not relevant at all now. You're not still seeing that wave. So I think close in, zoomed in, day to day, minute by minute, people can get caught up in that in social media. But zooming out, taking some time, it's obvious it's not that important. And we just saw 2 tweets as well to make this video. They're going to pick a couple of things. This is like a 26-minute video that I'm turning into hours and hours of content, of course. Hours and hours. 2 hours 18. No, 2 hours 18. I'll put this straight up on the channel afterwards. Hours and hours of content. Probably won't even get to do the Genshin Impact gameplay within this stream. Maybe I'll break it up so that I can just upload this as a... Anyway, I'll stop talking about how I'm going to make content, just get on with making it. The important thing is how it works out in the bigger picture. For me, the conversation in the big picture is important. And interestingly, the person that made this video, Mujin, has not shown us tons and tons of examples. Maybe they felt when they were scrolling on Twitter at that time, it was very negative and there were lots of examples, but they're not showing us tons and tons of examples. So I think it would have been helped if instead of a lot of this stock footage, they had, like, instead of all that stock footage, I saw that some of it was kind of meaningless and just in placeholder form. We had loads and loads of this negative tweets, and they were just, even if they weren't addressed directly, they were just there on screen over, like, to show the levels and the, like, do you know what I mean? Like, even if it wasn't particularly relevant to the things they were saying as placeholder footage, it would have been better to see the actual endless chuffing tweets instead of the stock footage, because I'm not getting a feeling still, despite those 2 silly tweets, that that's the general feeling amongst the community. Like, that seemed like a few outliers who were being silly, and you're going to get a few silly people. Like, Fortnite changes a gun, you're going to get some kids crying, aren't you? Like, it's going to happen.
HQ with guns and knives, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's make them change the skin color of fictional characters right now, or I'm committing a goddamn crime.
And this is the sort of attitude that you parody your enemy, okay, and you make them look stupid. And by doing this, okay, we're talking about Genshin. We're talking about some people in Genshin. This might not be how those people were feeling when they're tweeting with their, parodying them to make them look stupid. But what we're actually doing as well plays into the way the right wing try and make open-minded people like me, or people who are LGBTQI allies. Oh, you're woke. People who want a more diverse representation in the video games that they consume. Oh, you're a super woke snowflake. Oh, look at you all angry with your short hair and your lesbian. Like, calm down. Parodying, making a straw man. It's not really what's going on, like, you know. But that's how this works. That's how they create that term woke and snowflake. They need to keep parodying the people who are giving them the legit. It's certain sectors of society come up with legitimate and reasonable ideas, and then the response is, look at you, you're screaming, you're angry. That's not exactly what's happened here, but you know, that's how that mechanism kind of works. So I'd be careful about doing this sort of thing. But yeah.
But guys, listen.
But at least that was an editing joke with a picture.
Hey, don't let them know it's because he saw leaks, though.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of those people who called me a basement dweller. You're getting angry. You can't take it living in your mom's basement. Hello. Like, you're just setting up a parody of who you think I am. Like, I'm not angry. You know, maybe those people weren't angry when they wrote those tweets. Maybe they were being tongue-in-cheek comedic and we just misread them. I don't know.
Yo, Hoyoverse, listen. Change the skin color of the characters in Sumeru. Wait, excuse me. How do you know about the characters in Sumeru?
I don't think there's anything wrong with seeing leaks. Like, as far as I know, it's not illegal to see a picture.
No.
It's only illegal if you are spreading it, or knowing that it's NDA'd, or you're the one spreading it yourself. Yeah, come on. You get banned if you leak Genshin stuff. No, I think you should get banned if you leak Genshin stuff. But leaking is different than looking. Right? I mean, come on, guys. If you look at something on a page, that doesn't mean that you posted it.
Agree. I don't see this point making any sense. You know, MiHoYo, I saw this picture of your stuff. Oh, you saw it? How did you see it? You naughty. No, I'm not naughty. Shut up about that. Let's deal with the actual picture. Like,
Wishin says so. You're racist, aren't you? Someone said on Twitter.
Banned for seeing an image. Come on.
Ma'am, we're Chinese. Twitter's banned in our country.
In China, it's illegal to
That's
see
one
it
of the
too.
funniest things.
that's a good point. If the developers are creating this, and they are all living in China and Chinese, they grow up in and deal with a different perception of the world, don't they? And so it is hard to judge things on Western standards, even their perception of Twitter. That's a good point. I hadn't thought so deeply about that. But are they seeing the full picture that we see? And does it matter to them in that way? I suppose probably no and no is the answer to that, isn't it? Maybe they could understand some of the concepts that I'm talking about, but understanding the social standard and norms of our society and where we're at compared to theirs, it's just the same in any, you know, if you went on holiday to China, I'm imagining, unless you're watching this and you're Chinese, if you went on holiday to China, you would find some of the things they do as normal, and some of the things they do you would think, this isn't normal, I don't know how we're doing this, I don't do this at home, and vice versa. So until they can see through the prism of the West, it's virtually impossible for them to be making those adaptations for our taste. And it's not taste, it's political and it's social and it's all that, but for our taste.
By the way, all this shit's happening on Twitter right now. The actual Hoyoverse employees that make these decisions can't even see it because the site is banned in their country. Look, you want this whole...
That is kind of funny, right? And this is kind of what I'm saying, right? It's like, imagine how much it would matter to one of the guys that makes decisions over in a Chinese company that there's a handful of people on an American social media website that are mad about a leak. Like, probably half of them don't even speak English. They don't even know what they're saying. So they have to have somebody explain, sir, well, they're not very happy about, well, okay, so you have to understand, pretty much they don't like the color of the characters. They think it's racist, and they're like, okay, all right. And that's it. Yeah, they have no idea.
Controversy summed up to you in a nutshell. It's like someone robbed the bank, and then they gave everyone $100 bill. And you go to Twitter to complain that the $100 bill is too wrinkled and your local ATM won't accept it. That's pretty much...
No. That's not right. You didn't get a $100 bill. It's like somebody robbed a bank and you saw a photograph of the new money that was going to be in circulation, and the money was like, had a swastika on it, and you're like, no, wait, can we have this a bit more socially acceptable, please, before you release it into the world? Like, it's not a very good analogy, actually, the robbing the bank. Starting with the robbing the bank as a premise is a bad premise.
what they're all doing right now. It's so stupid. But what do I think? Well, who asked, actually? Who cares? Whatever. Look, what I think is this. I think it's completely warranted to be displeased with the design decisions that were done on something you enjoy and invest so much time in.
I think that's true. Like, anything that you don't like about something in a game, you should be able to say that you don't like it. That's like your right as a viewer, as a fan, as anything. You should be able to express your opinion. Absolutely, even if it's stupid.
Fair enough then. I think decisions are made and not done. Decisions are made and not done. It might not be English is their first language, but not happy with the design decisions that are done. Design decisions that are made. I can't even say it.
Those are the most important ones.
Isn't warranted.
As
What
a
I
consumer,
disagree
yeah.
with, what I think is really stupid, is people taking it a step further and doing some really crazy things, bringing IRL politics into a fictional game that people play
No. It's not IRL politics. Diversity and inclusion is now a social norm and standard. It's not IRL politics, really, is it? And to say that you shouldn't bring those into a media format like this is even more ridiculous, because that would be like saying that IRL politics of body image don't come into it when it comes to women's magazines. We should be allowed to just do what we fucking... No, they're going about the airbrushing and the real and the this... You know what I'm talking about. You know, gender politics doesn't come into it when we're forming our cast for our films, and, you know, racial politics. In some films, obviously, racial politics it directly informs because the content's about it. But, you know, modern media these days, diversity, it's not just modern media, it's the modern workplace, isn't it? It's the modern world. So if it's everywhere, and then you're going to make, like, it's not MMO, but it's cooperative, international, global, online, like, big media. We're talking bigger than films. Genshin Impact makes more money than any film ever did. Unless you could count an entire franchise, I suppose. But you know what I'm saying? Like, of course these conversations are going to be had. You can go in the bin if you say that we shouldn't, and that there's some sort of invisible wall because we're making a computer game. We don't have to adhere to social norms or values, unless your game is talking about that and is set in a place where, unless it's that, no, you kind of do. Like in this context, you kind of do, because you're making something different. Even like it's even more open to this conversation.
Escape the IRL landscape.
Well, that's also weird. Like on my edge, like where
we know that Tavia. I'd say it's more simply. We know that Tavia reflects Earth. The Traveller is from Earth, but we know that Tavia reflects Earth. It reflects its culture, not just its geography. It reflects the culture, and what we're talking about is society and culture.
I think things go over the line is whenever you start trying to go beyond the traditional methods and channels of communication because you feel like your issue is so important that you deserve to be heard in a way that is unofficial or unorthodox. That's what the issue is. It's people that have such a big ego and they...
Yes and no. In certain situations, I understand, yeah, get in line like everyone else, post it on the thing, see if everyone agrees. But starting a bit of a fire, to use the image, starting a bit of a fire under people's bellies, creating a bit of a campaign. We don't want to create a hate campaign on the internet about stuff, but this is where protest movements come from. This is where grass seed movements, where we get people together and then we sign a petition and... You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be violent and aggressive and stuff, but it is important sometimes to say, am I the only one that thinks this? Or can we get the people that think this together so we can really make a change? Because if you just stay disparate and voiceless, where should you say this? Maybe on social media is fine. Maybe it's fine. Maybe not everyone's going to agree, but you at least need to be able to put your flag out and wave it. Like, I think it's okay to not let's boycott and let's burn and let's do this, that, and the other. But is there anyone out there that agrees with me? Are we able to move society along yet in this direction? So yeah, are we able to move society in this direction? It might be people want to move it a different way and we can have a discussion like we're doing now.
I think their problems are at the center of the world and everybody needs to hear about them, and they go completely over the line because they can't comprehend the idea that somebody else doesn't care about what they care about. That's what the issue is. Everything else is totally fine.
Really shitty right now, and
I just want to check my mic.
Care about. That's what the issue is. Everything else is totally fine.
Really shitty right now. And
I just want to check my mic. Yeah, god damn it. I thought, for some reason, I thought I have been muted the whole time, but of course I've not. I'm fine.
And of course, calling the developer racist.
Yeah.
Finally, threatening to do something stupid, maybe a crime, or even harassing, spamming developers because of some stupid decision. You guys don't even know how an actual company hierarchy.
I mean, that's standard common sense, though, isn't it? We all know that's over the line. This is what I'm talking about: social norms and values. So we all know that's over the line. You didn't have to make it a video about it. We all know it. Like, there's only a very few outliers out there that think this is normal. So again, maybe Twitter was blowing up with lots of people who are going over the line, in which case Genshin Impact Twitter is cancer. But I think, no, I don't remember it. I was playing at this time. I actually was playing at this time. Let's be fair to me, although I'm not long term. I've been playing for over 6 months. I was playing for 9 months, nearly coming up a year, I suppose. And I was playing at this time when Sumeru was coming out. I was excited by it. And I even engaged in that conversation, retweeted a few people about skin tone and colour. So yeah, I didn't see all this cancer. But you're saying to me that a lot of it happened and you need to point it out on a video.
Functions because you've never worked a goddamn job in your life. You think actually messaging customer support or harassing a developer somewhere is actually going to change things. It's not. It's only going to make it worse. Well, look,
that's probably true. I think that usually whenever you have a company that gets, like, all the developers get harassed or something like that, it probably doesn't improve the game. At the end of the day, it does not create the desired outcome. And I think more often it just makes it to where those developers interact with those social media avenues less.
Yeah, but we are also talking, like, harassment's one, like, it's an interesting concept because we're assuming that the people who are doing the harassing are wrong. Like, how should I put this? I actually think the people who are doing the harassing have got the right start point, which is there should be more diversity in the game. So I can see why some people are so wound up by it, because it's a much more personal and pertinent subject to them, and they feel much more wrapped up in it, maybe in different ways. So they certainly shouldn't be allowed to go to the extremes of harassment, definitely not. But like, you do want if the developers are making a mistake and people feel really strongly about it, you do want the developers to feel that. And the problem is if the developers are not willing to change, and then they ignore all this harassment, they deem it harassment. Maybe it's not all harassment, maybe it's legitimate, some of it, and they just put it all in the harassment box because anything that says this is harassment, right, then we've got problems. So I think the bigger issue is that the game developers themselves shouldn't be directly like, this is not an indie game. This is not like a two-person team. Genshin Impact should have... Yeah, I'm right here. Genshin Impact should have a customer service department that can field this sort of stuff and give feedback to the developers. There should be regular meetings where the most important issues are fed to the developers so they can deal with them, where they can make the decisions as a group, where the audience, and maybe it's different in different regions what comes through and they have to make different decisions, but this is a big company now. We're talking, a big, proper giant of a game developer. So we should be having if you're angry about something in the game like this, you should be going to, not the developer, not the coding team or whatever, but the people who are there to say, we want to hear it from you. Let's hear it, let's talk. let's have all your ideas on board, and we'll collate them. And it might be that lots of people think the same. We'll start asking the audience. We'll start opening up with these questions. We'll have these debates, and then as a group, we'll be able to decide what is important, and then feed that back. Not everyone gets to shout what they want at the developers, but overall, and I think that would be a good system. I think these things would provide these positive changes as well, because I think if you were reasonable, if you took some of these extreme ideas, like I'm a vegan, and there are certain extreme practices that I kind of believe in a way, and there are others that I think don't help. So I think in a way, like let's say I don't want to kill the sumpter beasts, don't want to kill the animals, don't like killing sumpter beasts. And I should say in the forum, like, I raise this thing, and other people say, I don't like it. I like the sumpter beasts as well. I didn't, I'm not vegan, but I agree with you. And like, we have a conversation about it, and it gets put forward, and that's how we get heard, isn't it? It's not that I go around MiHoYo and find out who works there, and then post like dead poo-poo through their letterbox and make threats about sumpter beasts. Do you know what I mean? It just seems logical to me. What I'm saying makes sense. So I agree and I disagree. I think people should be able to be heard and communicate with the developers, but I don't think it should be a direct line, harassment line. But I think if people are that angry and wound up about something, then they at least need to be heard. Yeah.
Because why would they keep going on this platform where people, all they do is get mad? Well, fuck that.
Just by saying that there are good aspects of Genshin Twitter, just like everything else. It's just really loud people that ruin it. Like this guy over here. You are a minor.
Again, we're drawing attention to something that I never saw, so I don't think loud people ruin it. I think on Genshin Twitter, as I've seen, the thing that kind of, I would say, ruins it for me is the over-sexualization of some aspects of it. I can see why some people get that and why it's popular. It's the same with ASMR. It's the same with everything else. But for me, I'm there not for that. So I see that as being the dominant thing. Maybe it's the way I use Twitter. I don't know. Yeah, let's see what this... You're a miner who knows nothing about the world. You are the ugly one here. I can make you shut... It's just an ad hominem attack.
Who knows nothing about the world. You are the ugly one here. I can make you shut up, but I suggest you one thing. You don't want to deal with a devil like me. Of course they have a deluxe.
I can only imagine, yes. What a surprise that a person with their, what's that stupid thing that they have? What's that stupid thing called? Astrology. A person with their astrology sign in their name is acting like an idiot. Yeah, I mean, like, really, like, as I said...
Welcome to Twitter.
If somebody's into astrology, every single thing that they say, I immediately take less seriously.
Profile picture. Anyway, I cannot wait to pull for Al Haytham. Who is that, you ask? My Saudi Arabian friend. Please just delete Twitter. It's for your... Listen, this is an intervention. It's for your mental health. Yeah. Trust me. Just delete the app, please.
That's smart.
I was going to say there's not much there. Not much there, but that's a 20-minute video that I've turned into 2 hours 39. That's about right, though. If it's 10 minutes, it takes me an hour. So it's 20 minutes, it's taking me 2 hours. And then the 3 minutes is taking me 30. Yeah, I get about... For every minute, I get about 10, don't I, in React. There's still a bit more of what Asmongold's got to say here at the end, so let's hear what he's got to say.
Jesus, man. Holy fucking shit. That's why I have 1% woman base. That probably didn't help. You're right. Yeah, that's probably true. It does not fucking help. Yeah, that was a good introduction. I guess so. Holy fuck, man. That was so good. This was funny. MiHoYo doesn't want people to know what's to come because they can adjust and prepare how much to spend. Well, I think that's probably true. I mean, like, I don't think that they would want people to know what's to come. But it's like, maybe, I don't know. I mean...
Are you loopy? Of course MiHoYo want you to know what's to come. Like, have you ever known a company that are selling media that are not like, coming soon, this fall? Like, they want you to know what's coming out. They want you to be excited for it and hyped for it. Put it in your calendar. Get ready for it. Save up your money. Like, yeah, they want you to be on it. But it doesn't work if you just sort of say, right, did you enjoy Back to the Future? Because Back to the Future 2 will be out on this exact date at this exact time. And this is the exact plot. So, get ready for that, and then just go silent. You have to drip it out. They deliberately drip it out, and part of that is in the modern world, little leaks, little things, little cute. Like at the end of the last one, at the end of the last film, to be continued, and a little teaser and a little, oh, there's Iron Man, or do you know what I mean? Like they're constantly banging on at you about the next thing that's coming, and they want you to know about it and be excited about it, and they actually deliberately leak it. It's part of marketing to make you think that you're getting something. We talked about it right at the start. Yeah, of course they want you to know what's going on.
And it's not like, I mean, there's obviously, like, they're not going to sue people that looked at a leak. They're going to sue people that are either promoting it or leaking it. It's just...
I think no. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to play test it behind closed doors if they want no one to talk about it. And if you get a leak at that stage, sometimes that does happen in the gaming world. And it's like one person leaks it and everyone shares the one screenshot. It's like what we're talking about here is you've opened it up to like an online beta and the people that have played it have talked about it in droves. It's almost like we're achieving what we want with a marketing scheme. Of course they want them to talk about it. They're not going to sue anyone. They're going to let them do what they chuffing well want. Unless you're really brazen about it and deliberately break the laws and show that it's really like, oh, I was in the beta and this is all my details and they're not getting me, hooray. Then... because that would spoil the illusion, wouldn't it? So, like, they're going to be, of course, they're going to be helping you to share the media that involves promoting their game, aren't they?
A matter of, like, resource investment. You can't sue every fucking person who looks at a picture, but you can probably sue a lot of the ones, or at least the more prolific ones, that are posting the pictures in the first place. So that's, yeah, I think that's common sense, right? You can look at Sumeru characters, videos old, spin out, plus the characters. Oh, yeah, I'm sure I can. I think that people like, this is just general. I think this is just Twitter is cancer. There's nothing even special about Genshin Twitter here. I do see, like, every time the Tectone tweets, I read all of the responses because I'm curious to know what I have to look forward to. And it seems like, I mean, it's just pretty much the same shit. It's nothing too crazy. It's nothing too out of the ordinary. It's like just fans of a video game that are mad that this guy doesn't, like, he didn't say the right thing about their video game. I don't know. It just doesn't worry me that much, okay? Yeah, Twitter's worse than anything I've seen my entire life. Well, it's just people that are fucking out of control, man. That's all there is. Yeah, emotionally unstable. Tectone is seen as toxic creator in Genshin and gacha community in general. Why do people think Tectone's
I've got no idea who Tectone is.
Why do people think he's toxic? I mean, I don't watch gacha. I don't even watch this. I have no idea even what it could possibly be. Because he's loud? Because he's white. Okay, I can see that.
The thing is, if Tectone's a gotcha player and he's on he's on the gotcha angle and he's all about the gacha angle and he's all about the wishes and the roles and that, you can present Genshin Impact content in very different ways. And I showed you at the very start of this, we talked about Mermaid Scales and Dish and other content creators that are in it for different reasons. And I think you can present this anime story, fantasy world for the joy and the love of what it is, or you can make your stream about gambling. Like, it's available in Genshin Impact to do either thing. So I don't think it's fair to necessarily judge the game by any particular streamer's choice.
That makes sense. All right. He was toxic on Arc Knights as well. He hates every game. He is about drama. He really likes to fish for drama.
I don't know who that is.
Figure it out, okay? Let's see if we can figure out something else, though. Recently, let me link this video. I almost forgot. This is a funny video. I will...
Okay. That's me reacting to Asmongold. Genshin Impact Twitter is cancer. Video by Mujin. That'll be good. We'll cut that. 2 hours 45.